Hey guys, this is Anime Ball Z here, and today we are going to be doing the first part to a new What If Goku was a vampire. Please like the video if you haven't already, and subscribe. It's totally free and you can unsubscribe whenever you want. There's nothing much else I'd like to say in the intro, so without further ado, let's get into the video. This timeline begins in the time between the Fortune Teller Baba saga and the 22nd Tenkaichi Budokai saga. During his time training on his own, he gets attacked by someone. As he is doing some normal push-ups, he sprints forward and evades a swing aimed at his head. Turning, he makes a stance and sees this towering figure. This night has come and it means he can't really make out his appearance. However, he can see these glowing red eyes that almost pierce his soul. However, Goku isn't a pushover, he has power to back himself so he won't cower away in fear. He sprints toward this vampire and cocks back his fist. However, the man elegantly steps aside and watches his fist destroy a tree. "You have some good strength," the man says with a cold, raspy and bold voice. "I know," Goku responds in his kiddish tone. "Who are you?" Goku asks. He can feel the evil inside him. He knows he has no good intentions. The man stands in silence for a few seconds and he just smiles in his face. "To give you power," he says. Stepping forward from the shadows, Goku gets a better glimpse of him. He has a long dark trench coat and terribly pale skin. It's like he's ill. Not only that, but his sclera are a midnight black, with the only colour in his glowing red irises. He grabs Goku by his neck and reveals what looks like a syringe. Stabbing it into Goku, he presses the red liquid within the vial into his bloodstream. Straight after, he grabs him by his neck and snaps it. Goku is dead, and the man just walks off like nothing happened. "You will be grateful. You're on the right side of things now," he states, before walking away. Goku awakes with a gasp. He felt dead. It's odd, he felt a snap in his neck and then now he's waking up. He had to have died, right? What else happened? Goku raises back up and feels an odd sting across his body. Seconds later, it intensifies and feels more like a sizzling. Has he been affected with some form of illness? He looks at his skin and he sees that he really is burning. He looks up at the midday sun and can feel the sunlight enter his eyes and strike his retina like hot blades. He grabs his eyes and retreats into the shadows. Just as he expected, the pain subsides. It's the sunlight, that guy did something to him. After being in the shadows for a brief time, he can feel the wound starting to heal. The burn wounds fade, taking the pain along with it. It feels like he has some healing ability. That's nice at least. Goku wants answers though, but the man is nowhere to be seen. Instead, he just tries to find his way back home for now. He walks through this forest he was training in, resorting to the shade. Since he's fast, he can enter the sunlight every now and again. When he dashes through the sunlight, he also notices his feet feel way lighter and swifter than they once did. It's like his body is a third of the weight now. Goku leaps through an area of sunlight before entering a denser area of forestry. Relaxing in the shade, he gets ready to continue but notices something. His ear twitches as he picks up on a light sound. Two men conversing as they walk through the woods. It's nothing of substance. He thinks of walking on. However, there's this unknown urge for him to approach them. Goku sees no harm in doing so and advances. He arrives by their side but remains in the shade. They're walking down a path through the forest, ready to camp from the looks of things. "How's that cut doing?" "It stings, but it's nothing. Thanks for the bandaging. It's handy you had those." He pulls up the sleeve to his right hand and reveals a bleeding wound. Goku almost shivers in reaction. He feels this sudden connection to that blood. It's something he can't really explain. Out of reflex, he springs out. "I'm sorry," he whispers before leaping onto the man. Goku's far stronger than this man and topples him easily. Next, he grabs the bleeding arm and opens his mouth. He groans in pain as his canines painfully grow into larger, sharper fangs. Not only that, but black veins protrude from his eyes and down his cheeks. His sclera darken to black and his eyes glow a dim red colour. Digging his fangs into his wrist, he begins sucking the blood from his veins. The taste is like nothing he's experienced before. It's this beautiful, sweet taste that's beyond delectable. It's addictive. The man's skin starts looking terribly pale and he resists, but Goku just keeps on sucking on his blood. The other man has tried to hit and wrestle Goku off, but he doesn't move. What could the average man do to him anyway? That's before he got this sudden power boost. Now he's on a totally different level. "Get away," Goku shouts, backhanding the man. This single backhand kills him on impact. But Goku leaves this man for dead from the amount of blood he sucked from him. He smiles, amazed at the taste he's experienced for the first time. Is this always how good blood tasted? His blood doesn't taste like this. However, he gets hit with this wave of guilt. Before him are two dead bodies. He rushes back to the man that he sucked blood from and finds that he has just passed away. His pulse is gone. The other man has also passed. He killed those people in the Red Ribbon Army, yes, however they were bad people. They weren't up to any good, they were attacking him. These people meant no harm. Unable to deal with his guilt, he sprints away as fast as he can. In mere seconds, he's back home. He heads to the nearest river and wipes off every drop of blood from his body and swaps out his clothing before washing them in the river as well. It's like he wants to wash the guilt away. No matter how vigorously he scrubs though, that heavy weight in his heart never fades. He just has to accept what he's done. He has to accept what he's become. Is it his fault? It was this odd urge that came over him. He doesn't know how to explain it. Regardless, he has to find that man again and ask him a lot of questions. After this point, his power level is lifted to 1000. A massive boost to his previous strength. The increase in his power level is seen primarily in his speed. When he starts moving, it's like everything around him moves in slow motion. Not only that, but his durability has enhanced greatly. He can't break his skin as easily and his healing is impressive. However, he can't go out in sunlight easily. After a few minutes, the burn just gets too much. It feels like he'd catch fire. During this time, Goku has to find some victims. For anybody he finds just walking out in the wilderness, he takes their blood and returns to his home before he's found. One time he takes the blood of someone, he urges for them not to make a sound out of guilt from what he's doing. At his command, the man he targets falls into complete silence. It works, he can command people with his will. In a large gothic room sits the man that attacked Goku. He sat in a throne with 2 flames roaring by his side. 2 guards in gleaming glossy black armor are stood by his side as well, holding mystical weaponry. The building has a beautiful medieval architecture and looks out to the ocean on one side. He sits calmly in his throne with his chin rested on his hand. "Did you get that boy, Duke Anton?" a man asks, holding a tablet as he stood before him. "I did. There's something else about him. He isn't human. His blood smells so different," he reveals. There was no attraction to it whatsoever. He waits for a few seconds, then adds something else. He's just overcome with confusion. It was so odd. Not only was it different, it's a smell I've never smelled before. "What information do you have about the Ebankort clan?" "They're prepping military advances. The fight is inevitable. It's just as you predicted. That kid will become quite the asset to our forces," he adds. "We've been working in the shadows for so many generations," he says before lifting off his throne. He walks down the dais and zips toward the large window that looks out to the ocean. He places his arms behind his back, just relishing the great view. The moonlight leaves this beautiful white gleam over the crashing flowing waves. "Looks like we'll enter the light for the first time. Our victory is a certainty," he claims. Goku's participation in the 22nd Tenkaichi Budokai comes along. He stretches in preparation for this quarter-final match. He's up against King Chopper. Goku went through the preliminaries with a surprising swiftness and ease. Nonchalantly begins the fight and bomb rushes his adversary. With the crowd still in silence, he's punched King Chopper off the ring. Glass wearers take them off in the crowd. The viewers' jaws drop to the ground. They were not expecting that level of physical prowess. Even the members of the Turtle Hermit School weren't expecting that. "Just what have you been feeding this boy?" Lord Chen thinks to himself. His glasses do well at hiding the emotion in his face, but it roars inside him. There's a small doubt that lingers in the back of his mind, but he suppresses it. No. His students, they are superior to the Turtle Hermit School. There's nothing Roshi could teach his own to eclipse them. Goku moves on to face Krillin in the semi-finals. The two nod to each other with respect. May the best man win. Krillin charges at Goku as the match begins. He begins with a barrage of quick snappy punches. Goku has no issue evading every single one. He becomes this one big blur ahead of Krillin that he just can't seem to hit. Krillin throws out a cross, but Goku catches the fist and pulls. Krillin's thrown forward, and Goku knees him in the face. He does so with a power and viciousness Krillin wasn't expecting. Getting knocked back, the world sways around in his view. Goku goes into attack but feels his heart almost drop. No. Looking at Krillin, a drop goes down his forehead. Goku almost starts shaking and retreats. Krillin, confused as to why he's doing this, just continues the fight like normal. He swings in a kick, a punch, a sweep at his legs. Every attack Goku either blocks or just takes like it's nothing. As he does so, he can't take his eyes off the blood on his forehead. Goku hasn't had the strength to tell the people around him. He isn't sure if they'll see him the same way. I mean, he has changed, and it's starting to feel like he hasn't gotten better. If they see that demonic face he dons, no. He can't let that happen. He can feel the black vein showing up across his face, but he hides himself and turns away. "What are you doing?" Krillin asks. He tries to just brush it off, but Goku's acting very oddly. Krillin, shaking his head, just continues to fight as Goku gives no response. Charging toward Goku, he puts his hand out and shouts. "No, stay back," Goku insists. The urgency in his voice, it was real. Krillin grinds to a halt, now shocked. "Alright, now I'm just confused." Goku, seeing no other option, takes a step off the ring and forfeits himself. The crowd roars with dissatisfaction. Goku did so well in his quarterfinal match. They wanted to see how he'd do in the semis and final. It looked clear as day that he'd progress. Why would he just throw himself off the ring and get out the tournament? The rules are the rules, and Krillin moves on to the finals. Krillin puts up a good fight, but he loses out to Tien. The latter has similar levels of technique, but with a higher power level. Therefore, there just isn't much that Krillin can do. Tien wins the finals, but still gives kudos to Krillin for his efforts. Shen can take a sigh of relief knowing that Tien wasn't topped in this tournament. What is going on, Goku? Rishi asks. I don't know. I think I got a stomach bug from food or something, Goku says. The group have dinner together and Goku then realizes he's forgotten his things at the tournament. Krillin offers to get them for him and Goku lets him go. However, he can't shake this feeling he has, this off feeling. However, he gets back to his eating and tries to push down those worries. Sadly, his greatest worry has come true. That unshakable feeling grows too much and he leaps off his seat to sprint out the restaurant. He sprints down the street toward the tournament location. Barging in, he sees Krillin on the floor with a green humanoid creature standing over him. Goku looks at the blood on the ground and can't take his mind off it. Tambourine kicks him cleanly in the chest, but he tanks the movement without a second thought. Diving down to the fallen commentator, he digs his fangs into his neck and sucks on his still warm blood. He shouts out in pain, trying to get Goku off him, but he's too strong. He can easily keep him planted and gets his fill on his blood. Standing off him, he leaves him terribly pale and weak. Just what are you? Tambourine asks, with a chuckle. Your bane, Goku shouts, grabbing him and slamming him into a wall with phenomenal force. The entire building shakes from the slam and rubble crumbles down. He jumps up and headbutts Tambourine and uses enough force to knock him straight out. Dropping, Goku's mind gets taken over by rage and a lust for vengeance. He throws each punch as hard as he can and breaks bones on every impact. Each punch makes the building tremble. After he feels himself calming down, he gets up and sprints away. He sprints through the city, becoming a total blur to those who watch him. In seconds, he's out the city, just looking at the blood on his hands. He stumbles forward and just falls to his knees, looking at himself. It's hard for him to get used to this. It feels like he's become something darker, tainted, hellish. You're not a demon, a man states, making Goku jump. Turning around, he can see the same vampire that turned him standing over him. What did you do? He shouts, speeding toward him. As he tries to touch him, it's like he phases through him. He turns and attempts to attack again, only for him to evade at the perfect time. I gave you power you won't regret, he comments. How could I not regret this? I'm hurting people, I'm hurting innocent people, Goku says with a quivering voice. Oh right, so you place yourself at their level. You're above that now. Us vampires don't need to follow their rules. We can do as we please, he comments. Goku stays silent. He can argue with this guy, but he seems quite set in his ways. That's not his job anyway. He knows what is right. Why are you here? Goku changes the subject, now trying to get some answers. Well, I'm going to take you, train you. There's a war that will fire up on this planet, and don't you want to be strong enough to help those around you? He wonders. What war? Goku asks, raising up. Well, a war of our kind, and you're on the right side of things. Follow me, or perish, he orders, before turning to the road. Goku follows him and he leaps into the air. Goku does the same. They end up leaping over the vast terrain, covering masses of distance. Goku feels quite surprised. He didn't know his legs now had the power for this. Since he's very explosive and lightweight, it means he can just fire himself into the air like his legs are springs. The clouds part as they soar through them. They catch glimpses of the beautiful biomes below. It's an amazing experience. Does this really feel so bad? The man shouts back to him. Both fighters end up at an ocean shore that leads to a vast water. Where are we going now? The man holds up his arm and tells him to wait. Putting his hand forward, he bites his fingertip and writes a circle across his palm in his own blood. Seconds later, an evil and dark red ki floods into this blood circle. It rages, and suddenly a translucent aura of energy appears. This is the world you've been hid from. Welcome to Sanguinopolis. The shield creates a hole for the two to walk straight through. Goku takes a gasp upon walking through. It's too much to take in. Ahead of him is this massive city of dark grey or black towers. Around the city is a beautiful sea of water with doves and other creatures soaring across the surface. The man leaps and Goku follows. They arrive in the city and it's a totally different world. The scent is metallic, oily, it's an almost grungy atmosphere. As this man walks through, everyone gives him space to move. Not only that, but there are these people in the streets with shackles to their necks. Humans. Goku can smell it. They've taken humans captive and they're probably using them for their blood and nothing else. They arrive at a large castle, then enter. Eventually they arrive at this golden double door with a red carpet leading up to it. In this room, every day that passes on the outside results in a year on the inside. As vampires grow older, we naturally grow stronger. So we'll begin with simple meditating, he comments. Both vampires enter the building and Goku gets immediately hit by the strong scent of human blood. They enter almost another palace. Beyond the palace is this infinite white grid. First, we'll start with teaching you our martial arts. You will learn to use a special type of ki, demon ki, he explains, as a dark red aura roars across his right hand. Then you will enter desecration meditation, he explains. Goku totally butchers the pronunciation of desecration meditation, making the man chuckle. This kid is quite young. If you, a vampire, stops having blood for a long time, then you will start turning into stone. That sounds bad, but after a while, the sense of time starts getting better to handle. Eventually, hours and days feel like seconds once your brain slows down. Once a few decades pass, I will jump in and give you blood to heal you back up. Goku doesn't have a choice here, does he? It doesn't sound like a great experience at all. However, it's good to know that not too much time will pass on the outside. Once he's done, he can return to his friends. What was your name? My name is Anton de Montclair. First, the man teaches him the art of Demon Key. The key that vampires use is the key of humans, nothing different. The first change is the physiology of the vampire, however what comes after is the change in the key. If a vampire visually charges the key into the body with the tainted soul, you will form a darker, more powerful version. Demon Key. This grants an immediate physical boost, however for new users it changes one's mentality quite a lot. Users become more bloodthirsty, arrogant, etc. Goku has to learn to find this tainted soul. Up until this point he hadn't had one. Since he is no longer pure-hearted, he cannot use the Flying Nimbus anymore. He hasn't told anyone, he can't really find the strength to tell anyone. It feels quite humiliating, that was his thing, he's the pure hero. What is he now? It takes some time, but Goku is phenomenal at learning new techniques. Anton is quite alarmed upon seeing this. He compares this progress to his own back in the day and he does not match up to him. The training also consists of very harsh, intense training. Unlike humans, vampires heal on the spot with human blood. They have that in abundance in this realm, therefore they just keep on going. 3 years of this training passes and Goku reaches a power level of 5,500. Not only that, but he's 18 now, so he has a much better physical build to work with. With this power level is also an incredible speed. The martial arts he's been taught also teaches him to maximize on his speed. He can use every bit of his natural explosiveness from his technique. Goku spends 2 more years training in here and reaches the physical age of 20. Not only has he been trained physically, but his mentality has changed quite a lot. He's basically been taught the history of the de Montclairs and the Ebankorts. They aren't the only 2 vampire clans, there are many other clans, but they're only allied with either of them. They have been the modern powerhouses of the vampire world. Many different clans have been powerful in the past, and the history of vampirism goes back millennia. Just as humans started to dominate the world, so did vampires. One interesting theory that Anton has is the theory of gods. If there is Demon Key, he believes there must be some balance. An opposite form of key that is instead pure and with its own benefits. This has never been seen, but he just assumes it's out there somewhere. Being talked to quite a lot, he has started to become a lot more aligned with this clan. Anton is very good with his words and getting his message across. He's emphatic in his speeches and good at manipulating people. What are we doing now? Goku asks. Desecration, 100 years in here, 100 days out there. So, Goku begins his desecration, meditation. Now, Goku has meditated before, so he knows what he's doing at first. However, after a few days, that thirst for human blood is strong. They venture deep enough into the realm so that they aren't haunted by that scent of blood. Anton gives him words of encouragement and forces him to stay in his meditation. Soon enough, it's like he enters a trance. He's kept his fingers together and it gets harder to move them. It's like the muscles and tendons in his hands are hardening up. Then he finds that he can just doze off almost. He doesn't fall asleep per se, but time passes and he doesn't really comprehend it. The hardening continues. His skin grows drier and paler. Eventually, his body hardens completely and he struggles to move it. Before that, he loses the desire to move or do much of anything at all. Out of nowhere, he hears a voice. Through his hardened ears, it sounds rather dull and weak. There we go, the meditation is complete. Seconds later, he's woken up by the scent of blood. He shoots open his eyes, strugglingly turning his head to the scent, a blood bag. He breaks through the hardening almost out of instinct. He feels pain as his skin crackles and breaks around, but he doesn't care. Snatching that bag, he finishes it in seconds. He goes for another, then another. After 5 whole blood bags are finished, he feels rejuvenated again. The hardened skin flakes off. He gets fueled with this new sense of life and strength. His instincts take over and he roars to the sky. This new power is exhilarating. A dark red aura engulfs him and Anton smirks with pride. Goku's power level has risen to 48,000 just from getting 100 years older. Anton is currently 3,500 years old, having lived 850 outside the chamber. This has made him incredibly strong. Goku asks just how strong he is, but he gives no answer. Oh well. He can tell from his age that he must be insanely powerful. Whenever they sparred in the chamber, he never used Demon Key and didn't really try much at all. Goku exits from the chamber and is allowed to return to the real world. Keep on living the life you do, for now. When the war comes, you will have to leave that behind. Leave it behind to ensure their safety. The power you have now is above any human by a long shot. Use it wisely, Anton states, before leaving. Goku returns to the real Earth and the vampire seat behind him turns to a sea. He didn't really get to see it much, he was mostly in that chamber, however he somehow got used to its different, unique theme. He wouldn't mind returning. As Goku meets his friends again, they look so happy to see him. Goku greets them warmly and just says that he went off training, however it looks odd, he's way older than he was. Goku just says he's been through things he can't really get into now, but he'll let them know when he can. When it comes to the 2013 Kaichi Budokai, he wins with ease. King Piccolo attempted to get all the Dragon Balls and take over the world, but he's killed at the hands of a vampire. Someone of the Demon Claire clan actually. They take him out, then return to what they're doing like nothing happened. He's so weak they don't even take note of him. In this timeline, Gohan is a half human, half Saiyan vampire. The very first hybrid Saiyan vampire, potential for masses of strength, but that also makes him dangerous. Since he's a halfling, his instincts are much weaker compared to his father. His healing factor is much slower, his need for human blood is weaker. However, of course, he does get the boost from being a hybrid Saiyan. Raditz arrives on Earth and kills the farmer with a shotgun. Next, he soars toward a strong key he senses, Kakarot. He arrives at the Kame house and reveals Goku's true origins. He's an alien from a now destroyed planet called Planet Vegeta. Raditz then gives him an ultimatum. If he doesn't take out at least 100 humans, he'll kill his son. Right after making this order, he reaches for Gohan. However, Goku grabs his outreach star and stops him dead in his tracks. Raditz tries to push forward almost out of reflex. He saw Goku's power level, so he doesn't even think twice about it. Once he pushes again, he just can't move. He looks back up and gets another power level reading as a result, 20,000. He retracts his arm and retreats with fear like his hand just got burned. He squints and just scrunches his face up repeatedly, overcome with shock. "Don't touch him," Goku shouts, before speeding forward and clocking him in the jaw with the right cross. Raditz feels his whole jaw snap out of place and he gets sent into the waters. Those watching look terrified at Goku's strength. The same person that knocked Krillin back into the Kame house got launched 100 meters out into the water. Raditz, snapping his jaw back in place, flies out the water. He just watches Goku with anger. How can his power level be so high while he's so weak? It makes no sense. He's his younger brother and he hasn't been raised wiping planets clean for a living. Raditz might be arrogant and furious, but he isn't stupid. There's no use in fighting him. Instead, he can get something out of this. If this power is real, which it probably is, that means he can take down Vegeta himself. Raditz slowly flies back to Kame house, falling to one knee. "I apologize, Kakarot. I've been sent here against my will. Of course I wouldn't want to hurt you," Raditz states. "There are bigger forces at hand, stronger Saiyans that will come in about a year's time. They've been controlling me, and they'll be coming here to kill all of you. Kakarot, you have the power to stop them," Raditz says. "How can I believe you?" Goku asks, walking over to Raditz. There's something odd in the way he says this. It's not a question, it's more like an interrogation. "It's the truth," Raditz responds. Goku throws him back and nods to himself. Almost without question, he believes what he's saying. "So what are you going to do?" Goku asks. "I'll do anything you need me to do. If I'm given freedom, that's good enough for me," Raditz states. Goku hears that and wants to get everyone training. If they're really as strong as him, they'll need to have some strength to at least protect themselves. Goku might be strong enough to defeat them, but if they seek out his friends, it will be harder to keep them all safe and sound while also taking them down. So this year-long training period begins and everyone gets focused and determined. Goku focuses on training his son and Raditz. Raditz finds it rather hard to attune to a human society though. He acts almost like an animal. Saiyans weren't particular in teaching kids manners or anything like that. All that really mattered in that society was strength. He eats with his bare hands and doesn't mind about getting food all over his face and things. His appetite is even greater than Goku's, mostly due to his larger physical size. At first, he isn't fond of the way these people act. He came here in the hopes of seeing no one. However, after some months, he's learned to tolerate humans. He's starting to get used to their way of life. It's hard and he doesn't exactly agree with it, but he gets used to it at least. The humans also train hard in their own right. Since the Saiyans are so much stronger than them, they mostly do the training amongst themselves. When it comes to sparring at least. Of course it's better to train with someone that's stronger than you, but when the gap is so large you don't really grow much from that. After about 10 months or so, this is where the warriors are at. Goku stands far ahead of everyone else with a power level of 55,000. During this point, he was mostly training others and not himself. This is due to his utmost confidence, partially due to the influence of Demon Ki, but also due to logic. Raditz said that he was probably stronger than the Saiyans based on the power he showcased back then. He wasn't even using his full base strength, and there is Demon Ki that he can add on top of that. There shouldn't be a world where he loses. Gohan's power level has risen to instead 8,000. He's had far greater training partners in Raditz and Goku. Raditz has grown with him and been a great sparring partner for him. Gohan is also a halfling. He has a healing factor even if it is slow and not exactly visible compared to Goku's. Also, he requires much more human blood to keep it sustained. Raditz's power level as a result of all the sparring has grown to 4,800, a solid power much above anything he thought was possible. However, with Goku's insight and training style, he's made a bunch of progress. Goku's a product of numerous martial arts trainers who have all given him nuggets of information over time. Over the years, that information has piled on and made him the powerful, knowledgeable martial artist he now is. Goku and Gohan are just doing some light training, basically martial arts training. Beside them is Raditz cross-legged and chowing down on a cow leg. Goku stops in his movement a simple jab. Gohan does the same, then expects a different move for him to copy. However, Goku stays frozen. In the sky, you can then sense something coming toward them. A strong key, a strong unknown key too. This is it. Goku realizes. These are the Saiyans. The Earthlings band together upon their arrival and meet the Saiyan duo, Vegeta and Nappa. They're quite surprised to see who's amongst their ranks. Raditz. Raditz can't help but feel rage upon seeing them. The disdain, the contempt, that's all he sees when he looks at these two. He roars and powers up wildly, his ki runs wild almost. Nappa reads his power level and looks shocked. This can't be the same Raditz that left them to go to Earth. Raditz drives his elbow into Nappa's chest, not only straining his sternum but cracking his armor. Nappa stumbles back, caught off guard by this hit. Nappa, enraged at Raditz's cheap shot, roars. He unleashes all his ki and destroys his armor from this explosion of power. He swings his arm toward Raditz and releases a large wave of ki. Before it can hit Raditz though, he leaps into the air. The massive wave of ki knocks back many of the human spectators, with only Goku and Gohan unmoved. Nappa tracks him as he lifts, then fires out a mouth blast toward him. Raditz cocks back his right arm, then fires out a ki blast of the very same caliber. Both blasts collide and create a massive explosion. Raditz dives down through it though and drives his knee forward. Nappa holds his arms up in an X and takes the hit head on. It slides him back and leaves him with a much larger bruise than he expected. With him still looking at the bruise, Raditz has already closed the range. He delivers an uppercut to his jaw, making Nappa even more shocked at his power. Not only does the uppercut shut his mouth, but lifts the large warrior off his feet. With Nappa now lifted, Raditz swivels and lands a nice side kick to his chest. This launches Nappa into a tower of rock and throws him straight through it. Raditz leaps up and then double drop kicks a falling rock straight to Nappa. It shatters over him, slamming him into the ground. Raditz digs his hand into another large boulder and chucks it at the fallen warrior. It strikes him again, this time breaking his nose and leaving other bloody wounds on him. Finally, Raditz flies up into the air, reaching the clouds. He screams at the top of his lungs and charges his ki, using his maximum strength. He uses all the pent-up anger and rage to fuel his strength. Everything he's been holding back for these years will come out in this one attack. Next, he dives down like a shooting star and hits Nappa straight on. The ground caves in and a massive cloud of dust rushes out in all directions. Just like that, it might be over. No movement can be seen from Nappa for a good few seconds. However, after a short while, Nappa raises. He's covered in his own blood, his arms quake under just his own weight. Things aren't looking good. Above him, blocking out the sun, is the silhouette of Raditz. At any moment, he can come crashing down again and ruin his hopes. Nappa, hesitant and trepidant, backs away. He increases the gap between them, but Raditz acts. In a flash, he closes the gap between them and punches Nappa right in his jaw. The large warrior retaliates with an attack, a simple punch. He waits for Raditz to come rushing again so that he can throw it at the perfect time. However, Raditz is ready. With his 20% higher power level comes a much greater perception of the battle at hand. He blocks a punch before closing the range and slamming Nappa down. With Nappa back on the ground again, he lets out what's left of his anger and thirst for blood. He swings down several haymakers, punches, elbows, anything that comes to mind really. Nappa is strong and durable, but Raditz is a step above that. The speed and power is hard for Nappa to manage. With each slam, the ground quakes. The spectators have gotten closer to the fight to get a closer look. Raditz is won with astounding ease. Raditz lifts, his vibrating fist covered in the blood of his victim. He turns and stares down Vegeta, who watches him with his arms crossed. Nappa coughs out blood and passes out seconds later. He lifts off Nappa and begins walking toward Vegeta. He wants to continue the fight and face him. Raditz feels on top of the moon right now. It's like he could face anyone. Therefore, he speeds forward and tries to attack Vegeta using the art of surprise. Even with this on his side, Vegeta has the upper hand. He sees the approach coming from a mile away. He grabs his incoming punch and stops him completely. Snapping back, he pulls Raditz toward him, then headbutts him to the ground. Think twice before facing someone of my caliber. You are not on my level. Vegeta shouts out, furious. Vegeta's arrogance makes this moment infuriating. The fact that Raditz thought he could match him. He got way in over his head. Vegeta goes in to blast him, but someone steps in the way. Goku. Black veins protrude from his eyes and flow down his cheeks. He has this devilish appearance, large fangs, a beastly face. Don't touch him, Goku says. After so long training with Raditz, Goku has gotten this soft side for him. He feels sympathy for him. He's gone through a lot, and from his stories, this has been the main culprit. The arrogance, the disdain, it rubbed off on him and ruined him. Through this veil of confidence, Goku has witnessed his true soul, the true Raditz. The hesitance, subservience, mental frailty, he's been battered by the pride and ruthlessness of this man. Goku's rage and bloodlust gets the best of him. He punches Vegeta. His arm whips out with a snap and knocks Vegeta's Scouto off his face. Also, he drops onto his knees, then the world starts spinning. Goku doesn't stop there though, and kicks in his face, throwing him onto his back. Now he's thrown back, he throws a downward punch. He holds nothing back in these punches, and the spectators can tell. Each strike wields immense force and power. They can feel the residual strength shaking the earth. Not only that, but they've seen Goku train. They have utmost confidence in him to protect them and win this fight. Vegeta, nose broken and armor cracked, strugglingly raises. His breathing has intensified due to the strong and sharp pain stemming from his sternum. After just 3 quick attacks, Goku has dealt volumes of damage. The prince struggles to take this, just that thought infuriates him. In reaction, he releases all his ki and goes into elbow Goku. However, the latter is slick and he slips under it. Vegeta then swings up his right leg since Goku is right there to hit. Even with the minute distance between them, Goku retreats and evades that second attack as well. Throwing a right hand, Goku parries it to throw it off course and throws a punch of his own, across to the jaw. This strike slams Vegeta's jaw back, snapping it out of place while also rocking him. He loses the strength in his legs for a moment, but Vegeta has been in many fights before. Leaping up, he lands on a rock tower just ahead of Goku to gain some distance. Taking these few seconds to collect himself again, Goku simply lifts in flight to meet him. Raditz had taught him how to do this during their time training for Vegeta's arrival. Why did you treat Raditz that way? Goku asks. Even through his anger, Goku's true heart shows. He hesitates to attack again and instead looks for answers. That's how he should be treated. The strong are praised, the weak are humiliated. As much as you want to tiptoe around the reality, it cannot be hidden. There's a reason I'm Prince and not him, Vegeta roars back. His voice is weak and raspy through his hurt jaw and voice box. He's snapped his jaw back in place, but it's hanging on by a thread. Goku speed blitzes him and attacks. His right arm engulfs in an aura of dark red ki, Demon Ki. He smashes Vegeta's face with this power and launches him off the rock tower. He's thrown into the air and is sent through 2 piles of rock before hitting the ground. Goku leaps and lands beside them, nearly knocked out. Vegeta coughs blood and takes at least 10 seconds just to turn onto his side. With his eyes turned away, Goku knows he can kill him now. He reaches out his hand, but his soul stops him, his morality, his beliefs. He can't just kill him, that's not the right thing to do and he knows it. Vegeta might be evil, but it sounds like he's the product of the environment he was brought up in. If you're constantly told that you're the best, the strongest, of course you'd think lesser of the weaker people around you. His mentality is just a toxic, overgrown confidence, like the weeds that encroach on the beautiful flower surrounding it, growing too far, too large. Goku lets Vegeta get up, then he bites on his wrist. He makes Vegeta forcefully drink from his wrist, and with that comes amazing benefits. His body starts healing and he receives a Zenkai boost on the spot as a result. His power level raises to 23,000, but Vegeta knows he's outmatched. Out of fear, he speeds away toward his own space pod and leaves the planet entirely. Is he gone? Looks like it. He probably won't be an issue anymore, Goku states, turning around. However, as he turns, he can hear a large explosion a few hundred miles away. The others can't pick up on it, but he does. His pointed ear twitches, then he turns to the source. What's wrong? It has begun. A young, clear voice states from behind Goku. Who are you? Goku asks, cautious of any new threats. I'm Valentin de Montclair, son of Anton. You can just call me Val. Valentin has arrived at the scene and everyone watching is scared. That is because they sense ki coming from him. His power level is suppressed, but still stands at a steady 30,000. No one else but Goku is on his level. The war has begun. I need you to come with me, Valentin explains. Goku is reluctant. Even after everything that Anton told him, the war just feels like something that isn't his problem. It feels like the quarrels of the vampires are starting to interfere with ordinary human life. Regardless, if he doesn't do something, it could mean the end of his world. The friends around him don't know about it, but their lives rest on the victor of this war. The de Montclairs, the clan that Goku is associated with, want to stay in the shadows. They're fine with conducting their business in the absence of humanity. Keeping humans out of the know is fine for them. However, the Ebankort, their main enemy, wish to rule over humanity, not only to make themselves known but to enforce their own supremacy, to keep them as slaves, subordinates, that answer to nothing but their own will. They believe it's biological. They have the intelligence and souls that humans do, but with vastly superior physical prowess, as they believe it's an inevitability. As they converse, there's a large explosion in the distance. The war has begun in a nearby city. What's happening? Krillin wonders. He's tired of hearing Goku talk while not understanding him. After that explosion, it's clear what he's talking about is serious. There's a war going on and I need to stop it, Goku says. Why can't we help? There's too much for you guys. It's safer to just protect those around you. It has begun and it probably is raging on everywhere. Gohan, go back home and protect your mother, Goku says, before nodding to Valentine. The boy, who is currently in a suit, straightens his clothing, then prepares to go. For someone that's so powerful, he doesn't seem like a warrior. He seems more like an elite, a rich human of sorts. Is he human? The group have so many questions, but it seems like Goku isn't giving them any answers just yet. The Z fighters agree and leave, before Goku goes on with Valentine. They speed toward the adjacent city where the Ebankorts have already started taking it. It's easy. These vampires are formidable, knowledgeable warriors. Their only resistance is the police of the city. And what could they do? With enough time, they'll just be forced to give in because there'd be nothing they could do. Several people in white and grey clothing are situated in the city. This is the Ebankort clan. Their suits are usually lightly coloured, but a swarm of black coloured dots rush into the city below, the Demonclaires. Out of nowhere, someone appears in front of them both. Valentine retreats almost immediately, sliding back to the very edge of this tower. Goku, move, he roars, but it's too late. Lucien Ebankort, the heir to the throne of the clan, one of the strongest warriors in this force. He has a muscular but lean appearance and he's clad in gleaming silver armor. Underneath is a sleek lightweight silk of high quality and durability that is built specifically for battle. He has created a scythe of dark demon ki and he stabs Goku into the building's roof. Goku coughs out blood in agony with this blade straight through his heart. He assumes that his life has come to an end, a disappointing end. He thought he could at least do something to prevent this war. That's when he remembers what he is now. Nothing but a wooden stake to the heart will kill him. This grants him virtual immortality. This attack can't kill him, it can only hurt him. You always ran, and you still do, Lucien says, raising back up. A dark red cloak flows as he walks forward, advancing toward Valentine. His face is youthful and pale. He looks in his early 30s if we talk in human terms. Valentine, however, looks like a kid. Goku guessed he was 18 and guessed right. Both exceed 300 years, however. It's more like Valentine's physical age is 18 if he were to think in human terms. Valentine swings in a punch, but it's evaded. He then swings up a kick that is also evaded. With his legs so far in the air, it makes him almost lose balance. Lucien capitalizes on this and rushes to his planted foot. Kicking the knee of that leg, it sends him crashing down to the ground. Goku erupts in the power of Demon Ki, nourishing and invigorating his body. His power level rises to a whopping 200,000. However, it wrecks his body. Demon Ki is meant to be used in things like limbs and hands. Using it to empower one's whole body isn't a healthy way to use it. It certainly can't be used for long either. Goku doesn't care though. He showcased incredible physical durability, way above that of the other vampires he's seen, a boon coming from his Saiyan vampire DNA. He speeds toward Lucien and elbows him in his jaw. It snaps out of place and throws him right off the tower they're stood upon. His attacks crush his bones since he's simply much stronger than Lucien in this moment. Lucien, seeing Goku has used his full strength, does the same. He erupts with his own Demon Ki. Now in a full powered state as well. Valentine rises and Demon Ki flows over his arms. He isn't ready to use such a strong state just yet. He's very lean. He isn't as large and muscular, which means that Demon Ki hurts him more. The good thing is he can maintain it longer from a stamina perspective. He speeds back toward Goku, winding him with his first punch. He then swings up with an uppercut that lifts the Saiyan off his feet. With Goku now airborne, he grabs and slams him down into the penultimate floor of the building. Punching his head, he cracks the ground and sends him down yet another floor. Goku is durable and can take the attacks, but Lucien has monstrous strength. He's not only strong but fast and durable. Lucien swings in an elbow, but Goku sees how telegraphed it is. These vampires have lived long and had a lot of training, however they haven't got enough variation in their martial arts training. They all fight in a similar way. Goku's managed to find some openings in their style. The attacks look telegraphed to him and he can dip under it before he is hit himself. It's faster than any elbow he could throw himself, but he throw it in a more unexpected, fluid manner. There'd be no way to tell it was coming. He then grabs onto Lucien's upper arm and places his right leg in front of Lucien's left. This gives him a pivot point, a way to throw him down. Lucien stands at a whopping 6'4" and weighs 110 kilograms, so he won't be easy to move. However, he's already moving forward, so all Goku needs to do is push further and upset his balance, using his impetus against him. He does just this and sends Lucien flying downward. Not just that, but Valentine comes bulleting down through the hole in the roof. He strikes Lucien with a full power punch. He's used all of his Demon Ki but reverts to a lower state to preserve his body. Even just that hit sends this searing agony through his body that he struggles to handle. Steam emits off his injured body, but his vampiric healing factor restores him to full health. After a few seconds, it looks like Lucien might not be getting up again, but he blasts up from the bottom of the barren building and grabs Goku. He crashes through the upper floors once again and reaches further up. He blasts through the clouds overhead, then hurls Goku upward. Pulling back both arms, he starts charging his demon ki into his hands. Large red balls of demon ki form, then he combines them together. Blasting it up, the large ki blast fires up with insane speed. It parts the clouds even more than they already were, then slams into a flailing Goku. It releases a vast, bright explosion that resembles a second star in the sky. A large cloud of smoke appears, taking over a massive area in the sky. Small streams of ash and smoke fall onto the city below. The explosion almost brought the war to a halt. This is the power of the strongest vampires on the earth. Lucien smirks, assuming the job is done. Valentine looks to the sky, terrified. If Goku is done, how is he going to face Lucien alone? Lucien lands back on the skyscraper Valentine stood on. You thought you could win, really? Lucien wonders before speed blitzing Valentine. He doesn't even hit him, he instead swivels around to arrive behind him. Tapping him in his neck, he makes him collapse and cough out blood. Next, he drives an elbow right onto his spine, a shameless, ruthless attack. Valentine screams in pain from this hit, with his spine snapped in two. He can't even feel his legs, and it takes a good few seconds before the paralysis fades. Why don't you Demon Claire see the vision? It's obvious. We should rule over the people below. Why should we have to let them be? Why should we have to be forced to hide? Valentine coughs out even more blood before responding. What did we do to get this power? Nothing. They did nothing to be how they are. It's best that we're peaceful but separate, Valentine weakly responds, grasping his neck. He stands back up, but Lucien just grabs him by his neck. He crushes his throat, then hurls him into a nearby tower. This sends it crumbling down so it all falls onto the injured Valentine. Lucien lands on the road adjacent to this fallen building. He knows Valentine's still alive. Just as he predicted, Valentine blasts through the tower and reveals himself again. Out of nowhere, Lucien reveals a magnum, a firearm. There's only one place this could go. Repeatedly firing wooden bullets sink into Valentine's flesh. Each bullet intoxicates the nearby cells, pausing his healing factor. A deadly material to vampires, sharpened wood. He continues firing until all 6 rounds have gone, then he starts reloading as he walks forward. I told you the vision, it's your fault you couldn't see it, he states, spinning the magnum cylinder. He aims it forward again, straight onto Valentine's heart. The boy's not just going to yield, he won't surrender, he's going out on a shield. Speeding forward, he aims off the trajectory of the gun so the first bullet cuts through his shoulder. With his other arm, he lands a clean hook to Lucien. The attack mainly lands because he's focused on using his firearm. This works in Valentine's favour. He grabs his extended arm and pulls him down, using his full cloak of demon ki as he does so. With Lucien's aura faded, there's nothing he can do to resist. The slamming of his knees into the asphalt below shatters it. Valentine then tries to rip the gun from his hands, then kill Lucien. It's his only ploy. However, when he tries to pull, the pain that shoots through his right arm is terrible. He stops and falls down in agony. Next, he feels the gun on his back directly behind his heart. It's over. Lucien pulls the finger back to shoot the trigger, but Goku speeds down and punches Lucien away. Solar flare, Goku roars, making Lucien blind for a moment. Not only that, but his eyes feel like they're burning. This leads him to drop his gun. As it's dropped, Goku goes in to grab it. Lifting and aiming it forward, he floods his demon ki into it, then fires. It shoots into Lucien's chest and he fires again. He shoots all 6 rounds into his chest. It's over. Goku isn't in the best shape himself. He's healed from the injury, but he used a lot of demon ki. His entire body burns and he feels terribly weak. It's like his energy reserves have faded. His healing factor might not be gone, but it's much slower and less effective now. Lucien, still standing, stumbles down to a knee. You'll regret what you've done, Lucien shouts. A grayness starts to grow from his neck slowly but surely. He's dying, it's inevitable. However, with the last of his strength, he floods his body with demon ki. The ground quakes from his release of power. Goku retreats, chucking the empty gun away. It's not what he's used to anyway. Solar flare, he shouts again, but Lucien prepares and shuts his eyes before it can hit him. That won't work on me twice, he comments, furiously storming ahead. He kicks Goku into the rubble behind him, then aims for Valentine. He reveals a single wooden bullet and aims it for Valentine's heart. However, Goku uses Ki-Eye, a mix of ki and wind. This ki-wind mix hits Lucien's hand and shoots the bullet out his hand. It seems like Goku's versatility is really working magic here. How did he do that? Valentine wonders, looking to Lucien's now empty hand, then back to him. You thought this was the last one I had, Lucien shouts, with black blood spraying out his mouth as he does so. Soon the greyness raises above his eyes. Now he becomes lifeless. His eyes freeze, no longer blinking, no longer twitching. With his skin now totally pale and grey, he almost turns to stone and flops down. Wow. You really do know how to fight. Dad was right, Valentine says, before coughing blood. Goku immediately rushes to his aid. He removes the bullets and the small fragments left in the open wounds. Valentine pretty much screams throughout the whole process, but he knows it's what he must do. Soon enough, he's free and his healing factor seals the wounds. Taking a sigh of relief, one of the Ebankort's strongest warriors has been defeated. Next, they have the next one up to deal with, Lord Ebankort, the strongest of them all, their most dangerous adversary. As that fight went on, Goku noticed one thing: he got stronger. Each time he was injured, each time he was beat down badly, and then healed, he got stronger. Goku's power level is now a solid 90,000, with Demon Ki that lifts to 400,000. In the face of very strong threats that hurt him, his Zenkais work magic. Compared to the Zenkais he gets from maybe training, these Zenkais are way larger. He grabs Lucien's gun, then robs him of every single bullet he has. That weapon will work offensively and could also be his trump card, his way to grow if he needs to. What's next? Goku asks. Anton's facing their leader. There's no one else for us to face but him. If he's defeated, then the win is ours. Lord is no pushover though. He's much stronger than my father, he reveals. This might be an issue. Goku and Valentine find the main battle and it's a true battlefield. They flatten the area in which their battle has taken place. Goku focuses in, then sees the man Valentine talks about, Lord Ebankort. He looks quite old with long white hair and a long white beard. Anton, along with his most elite soldiers, are struggling to face him. Lord exceeds 500 years of age and has a slim physique, however he has surprising strength and power. Son, Anton says, as Goku and Valentine arrive by his side. Goku, Anton, Goku responds. It's good you're here. We've made progress but we're not all the way there yet. Goku powers up into his full demon form, now reaching a full power of 450,000. The ground quakes from the release of power and catches the attention of every vampire in the vicinity. When they saw him, his power level was very impressive but nothing to worry about. He is only 120 years after all, however now his power has reached the very top. He's eclipsed many of these strong vampire soldiers that surround Anton, the head of the Demon Claire clan. Goku speeds toward Lord Ebankort using his solar flare. The man grunts from the bright flash and holds his eyes. Goku sees this as his chance. Throwing in a kick, he believes that might be it. However, Lord manages to evade the attack even with his eyes closed. There are still many other senses for him to focus on: his strong smell, hearing, touch. He ducks under the hit and kicks Goku in his torso. Goku is launched away and the old man makes his stance again. Your name is? He asks. Goku slams into a rock hill nearby but blasts out of it, then arrives in front of him in a flash. Vampires can use vast amounts of speed in short bursts, so it looks like he teleports in a sense. I'm Goku, from Earth, Goku says, pointing to himself. The man laughs. Aren't we all? He says, before speeding toward him. He takes the Saiyan off guard with his speed and punches him right in his neck. This punch crushes his neck and forces out blood from his mouth. Since he is so slim, it means that he can move very quickly. He grabs onto one of Goku's outreached arms and pulls, slamming him into the ground. The impact hurts badly, but Goku almost takes it. Lord throws down a punch, then another, then another. He continues throwing slow but powerful punches downward that make the ground quake and cave in. The mountains nearby rumble from the energy flowing through them. Lord stares into Goku's soul with these lifeless, dark red eyes. His demeanor is totally different to Anton's, or even Valentine's. There's less elegance, less class. He's like a killing machine, a maniac. Goku screams out in pain from the assault, and those that watch can't help but step in. One of the elites aims forward what looks like a shotgun and shoots out a shell. Lord leaps over the wave of wooden pellets to evade them before flying down and aiming his knee forward. He knees the man in his chest and slams him into the earth below. Rummaging through his gear, he reveals his personal wooden stake and almost drives it into the man's chest. However, Anton grabs his arms and pushes him back as hard as he can. I won't let you hurt him, Anton roars, before shooting a mouth blast into Lord's face. Through the new cloud of smoke, he punches him through it, then fires out a barrage while masked by this cloud. Lord is very swift. He can evade the vast majority of these hits. He does get caught by a few and they consistently push him back until he reaches Goku's side. Anton and Lord have very thin dark auras that cloak their body. This is because of their control of Demon Ki. Their cloaks with this state have come close to the skin and so less Ki leaks. Goku strugglingly lifts, but feels overcome with strength. His power level has risen to 125,000. The beatdowns, they're some of the most brutal ones he's ever received, but they're helping him to grow. Now that his body is facing threats far above himself, it's adapting. Now his demon cloak has a power level of a whopping 700,000. He fires back toward Lord, who is now turned away and facing Anton. He fires out the bullet from Lucien's gun and they strike into Lord's back in various places. However, he makes sure to move around so that the bullets miss his heart. They still do hurt and do damage though. With his focus averted, Anton elbows him, then Goku elbows him in the back of his head. Using a blast of Ki, he sends Lord's left foot into the air. This throws him off balance. Anton drives an uppercut up and lifts Lord off his feet. With him lifted, he grabs him around the waist and throws him down, just like Lucien did in their fight. Move, Anton roars as he leaps away. Goku nods and follows his order. Creating a blast made in the shape of a spear, he drives it down onto Lucien's heart. The most painful, damaging area of the vampire. It releases a massive explosion akin to a nuke. As the light dies down, Lord is revealed with a shield made purely of demon ki. He managed to block the attack before it landed. He's simply too fast. Anton's eye twitches with annoyance. This is what it has been like to face this man this whole time. They come together, find tactics, but he's just too strong and takes them down before they can do anything. The war's in our favour, Lord roars before the shield fades. No chance, Anton roars before diving down. Out of nowhere, Lord uses his demon ki to block out Anton. The burly vampire uses his physical strength to try and break through this energy shield, but it's too strong. His dark red ball of ki is simply too durable. Let me try something, Goku shouts. He begins charging his own ki and resorts to his strongest attack, his signature move, the Kamehameha wave. Firing it at the dome, it does wonders, much more damage than Anton could have done with just his fists. Since the attack is stronger than its user, it can provide a lot more firepower, above even what Anton could have done with simple martial arts. The dome cracks and breaks apart. Goku manages to hit Lord right on, however the attack does very little. Lord begins using his strongest state, a level of skill with demon ki that Anton has never seen before. He almost freezes with fear, it's like nothing he's seen before. The ki has condensed and been refined to form this pristine armour that resembles the uniform of a samurai. How he's done this is beyond them. Making demon ki into a perfect cloak like Anton and Lord have previously done is already hard as it is. Then they saw Lord create a dome made out of demon ki, already an incredible feat. Now he's just taken it to the next level. Anton dives down and swings in a kick to his armour, no effect. He spins anti-clockwise and swings out a heel kick, but this kick lands on his helmet of ki and does very little. My go, Lord jokingly says before grabbing Anton. Valentine can't help but rush in. He doesn't want to see his father like this. After so long, Goku grew quite close to Anton himself. He wants to help as well. However, Lord isn't fond of this. He slams Anton and leaves Valentine disoriented with an uppercut. He grabs the young vampire and speeds over to the others in the distance. While holding Valentine by the neck, he slams into an elite and hits them so hard he knocks them out. Stealing from them, he reveals a wooden stake and drives it through Valentine's stomach. Purposefully missing his heart, the vampire roars in pain as the stake is dug into him. He tries to lift, but the stake has gone all the way through him and is now embedded into the earth below. Goku lands before Lord and fires a ki blast at point blank range. The attack does little. He continues with a barrage of ki blasts, then resorts to charging his Kamehameha. The barrage does some damage, but it's nothing that Lord can't take. Speeding forward, he kicks Goku in his jaw and knocks him out from the sheer force. Since his armor is so hard as well, all of the energy from his attacks are transferred into his opponent. It's not like energy is lost pushing in the skin of his hands or something like that. The group of elite soldiers disperse as to not be attacked by some ki blast. However, even with their coordination, they do nothing. Instead, they give Lord some wooden equipment to utilize. Lord throws up a wooden stake before kicking it straight at a now upright Anton. This stake drives through his right arm and his lung. He rolls out in pain and manages to catch the second. However, Lord forces a third through the left side of his chest. Just before the hit landed, Anton managed to shuffle himself and keep his heart just safe of attack. The stake drives through one of his major arteries though, a very sensitive part of a vampire. Now my world will be realized. You see how the natural dynamics of the world come together. You're sick, Anton strugglingly says, coughing out blood. Some of the blood he coughs out has turned pitch black, a very bad sign for a vampire. I wanted you on my side, Anton. Us clans could have come together in harmony above the human populace, but you kept that stupid soft side for them. Now you shall be buried alongside them. Valentine, who has awoken, sees Lord with a stake in his hand and his father on his knees. Adrenaline gets the best of him and he speeds forward as fast as he can. He tries to reach him, but there's little he can do. Lord stabs through Anton's heart and twists the stake just to add insult to injury. Anton coughs out blood, the greyness of death climbing up his neck and fingers. Valentine punches Lord's tough armor before getting knocked away. Anton, the head of the Demonclair clan, has been killed. A new leader is here. Valentine has claimed the title in the heat of battle. He drops to his knees, tears flowing down his cheeks. Lord turns and aims to take out Valentine. With no child of his, this would mean the end of the Demonclair leadership. A new dukedom would have to be founded. Goku sees the urgency in this. So many strong warriors will die and the humans will be enslaved. Those he holds so close to him gone. Look at Anton. The man that dedicated so much time to training him, that taught him how to properly fight so many things, his death will be in vain. He hasn't got time anymore. He hasn't got time to hurt himself and heal. The wound through his stomach has left some wooden particles in his body and it means that his healing won't be quick. It hurts even just to talk and use his abdomen in any way. Goku creates an afterimage of himself just beside Lord. The annoyed vampire swings at Goku and sees his arm go straight through him. Just how many tricks does Goku have? Turning, he sees Goku charging his ki. Just what trick do you have left up your sleeve? He wonders, standing to watch. Goku continues pulling as much power from himself as he can, veins now popping on his neck. What will change by powering up? He wonders. However, Goku continues roaring. He uses his anger to fuel his strength, and it works to make him stronger. This large well of power he didn't know he had is making itself known. The Saiyan's legendary strength, the Super Saiyan form, is here. Goku lets out a final roar as his hair rises and turns gold. Valentine and the fallen elites watch this happen in shock. Just who is he? Goku lands back on the floor, surrounded by a pure and golden aura of ki. His eyes are now a piercing blue but turn to a glowing red as his vampirism appears. His power level increases from 125,000 all the way up to 6.25 million, a massive increase. Lord, still confident in his own abilities, sprints toward Goku. However, his power level is at 1.1 million, nowhere near enough. Goku elbows Lord and snaps his jaw out of place. Next, he drives in a front kick to his solar plexus. The kick shatters his breastplate of demon ki, leaving him vulnerable. Goku forms a scythe of golden ki and stabs it through Lord's chest and makes him cough blood. Viciously pulling it back, he slashes the same blade over his neck. He can feel that he can't properly use demon ki, but this power's enough. His vampirism and his heightened emotions with the Super Saiyan 4 make him a beast. He leaves nothing on the table. There's nothing too brutal for him. He half-heartedly slashes at his arm and cleaves his right arm right off, and it causes blood to stop pulsing out with Lord's heartbeat. After being confident and on top in this fight, his tone has changed. He's seeing the possibility of defeat and just can't accept it. He just cannot. He thought this war would easily be in his favour. His power eclipses that of whole clans put together. How is it that this boy has surpassed it? Just minutes ago he was nothing to him. Goku continues to beat Lord down, shattering his armor with each attack. Soon all of his armor has faded and this leaves him terribly vulnerable. Goku grabs him, crushing his neck with a squeeze. He doesn't want to break his spine and knock him out though. That would make things too easy. He goes over to grab a loose stake from the ground and aims it just in front of Lord's heart. Wait, Lord whispers with a slowly healing throat. I'll make you second in command. You will be on top on this new world. I'll make you leader of the Demon Clairs. You can be Vice Duke of the Ebankorts as well. Riches, power beyond your wildest dreams. You just have to let me go, Lord pleads. You think I'd let you do that? I'm not friends with most of you vampires, I'm friends with humans. I want to see them prosper, grow, live their lives just as they have done. Anton was right, I'll realize his will. We stay in the shadows and the humans continue living just as they have done, Goku states before driving the stake through his body slowly and painfully. Lord takes his last breath, a painful gasp, before passing. The strongest vampire on the planet, Lord Ebankort, has passed. This gives the Demon Clairs a massive leg up in this conflict. This means the living elite vampires alongside Goku and Valentine move on to the remaining forces. Goku alone takes up massive units of the Ebankort clan and their allies. Many allied clans surrender upon seeing his massive firepower. In a few short hours, the war has ceased, and the remaining Ebankort soldiers yield. The war is over, a resounding Demon Clair victory. Goku has won the war for his clan, for humanity. Vegeta sat in his space pod can't shake the thoughts in his mind. He's ran away with his tail between his legs. Nappa has been killed by Raditz of all people. This low-class Saiyan, Goku, has sent him across the galaxy to save his own life. No, we can't let this continue. What even was that blood he gave him? That healed him in seconds. Vegeta goes in to cut his wrist and finds that the wound slowly seals up. With that Saiyan's blood in his system, he will be almost immortal, it seems like. That could be a ploy to work on. That could be his wish granted. He doesn't want to take any chances though. He knows that it's only a matter of time before the blood is filtered out his system. Once that happens, the powers could just fade. He arrives on planet Frieza 79, now a rogue. He has to find a way to become immortal, so he heads to Namek. Upon arrival, he is met by his old rival, Kui. He wasn't expecting this, but this might just bring some joy to his day. Vegeta was equals with this man before he left Earth. However now, after his big Zenkai, the gap between them is massive. The power of the Zenkai shines. Vegeta wins with little difficulty. Next, he continues on his search for Namek's Dragon Balls. There are very little threats in his way. He finds Midoriya and slaughters him quickly. However, he meets another threat, Zarbon. Vegeta's power level stands at 23,000, making the two of them total equals. Vegeta, so confident in his own abilities, rushes in like the fight is already his. Zarbon swiftly shuts down the idea though. Both warriors slam their forearms together, shooting out beads of grass below. Vegeta swings in a hook that Zarbon dips under, before punching him in his chest. Vegeta, grabbing onto his large and extended arm, pulls up and kicks him in his neck. The attack hits hard, and he lifts into flight and delivers another kick. He then leaps off Zarbon and fires in a ki blast at point blank range while his eyes are still closed. The blast strikes his head right away and blinds him yet again. He just continues in this way, using technique and his own fighting style to fight. However, it looks like the fight will end in a stalemate. Nobody can get the upper hand over the other. Zarbon is arrogant. He doesn't want to transform against a Saiyan. However, he doesn't want to keep Frieza waiting. Therefore, he leaps back and starts his transformation. Zarbon enters his larger, ugly form. Having received a significant power boost, the fight falls further into his favour. Zarbon fires out a ki blast that Vegeta smacks away. After doing so, he slid back just by the kinetic energy of the blast. Secondly, there's a large burn down his forearm. What would have happened if that really hit him? Another fires toward him, but he shoots his own in retaliation. Much to his surprise, the blast continues bulleting forward. Using gravity to his advantage, he dips under the ki blast and just misses it. Zarbon capitalizes on this by leaping up and slamming down onto his chest. Vegeta coughs out blood, hurt by that sudden impact. Zarbon lifts off him, then Vegeta tries to get up. As he does so though, there's this sudden and intense pain that spreads through his chest. Zarbon kicks that same painful spot, then elbows it. Vegeta feels one of his bones digging into his lung, making it very hard to breathe. Zarbon lifts him up onto his shoulder before chucking him into the nearby waters. "Stay there," Zarbon comments, before stretching and leaving. Vegeta, close to death, feels the darkness crawling in from his periphery. He struggles to even lift his arm. He's running out of options. He soon realizes the urgency to his situation. If he doesn't get out now, he will die. Vegeta, against all odds, crawls along the seabed and pushes himself out onto the shore. He coughs out blood and water in his lungs before slowly making his way to a nearby healing pod. He no longer has Goku's blood in his system, so he can't heal on his own. He's going to have to use a healing chamber. Throwing himself into one, the healing process begins. This is annoying. As he stays in here, Frieza could be getting his own Dragon Balls. He did hide them in discreet locations. He had already expected this, but Frieza's working with a whole army. All he has to do is send his legions in all directions and make them search every part of the planet. This is annoying, he thinks, his eyes closed as he relaxes in the healing pod. "Are those the only people you had qualms with?" Goku asks, eating with Raditz. "No, of course not. I said that those Saiyans control me, which is partially true. There's no way I could defy them," he comments. "However, they were working for someone else, someone much stronger than even you, the strongest person in this universe," Raditz adds. "Who?" Goku asks, almost intrigued. "His name is Frieza. We were a unit of warriors that work directly for his empire. He's ruthless. Whatever he says goes. We work for him and put on a good attitude around him, but everyone despises him. I'd love to take him out," Raditz says, his mouth full of food. "Why don't we go and get him then?" Goku wonders. "Didn't you hear what I just said? He's unkillable. He's not someone that can be defeated. The only way you could do that is become immortal or something. Then he couldn't do anything to you," he claims. Goku sits down his fork, a big smile on his face. "What if I told you I had that exact thing you need?" Goku has been keeping it from everyone, but there's no point in hiding it now. Goku is a vampire, a species different from the humans or the Saiyans. It's more like a heightened, different state that intelligent species can enter. It grants him just what Raditz needs, virtual immortality. The only way for them to be killed is by a one stake to the heart, but it's not like Frieza knows that. To him, they'll always be able to come back and haunt him. Goku then explains a phenomenon he's found in his training. Whenever he heals, he grows stronger than he was. Of course, the Saiyans are famous for that ability. I secretly think that's why our people were killed. The Empire claims it was an asteroid, but Frieza saw we wouldn't be his subordinates forever, and he probably tried to get rid of us to secure his reign as Emperor, Raditz states. "Exactly, so you know that we can grow to beat him," Goku replies. "So why did you say otherwise before?" "It's not that simple. That would have to happen over generations, centuries. It was not like the Saiyans he knew at the time would ever beat him. It would be much further down the line," Raditz contests. Goku then explains the healing factor that vampires have. If their injuries are sufficient, they can heal and grow stronger. They can continuously grow and come to torment Frieza, grow enough in the heat of battle to defeat him. This lights up Raditz's eyes. His chewing comes to an almost immediate stop. This is their chance, it's real. They can actually take out Frieza. They can ensure their freedom. Raditz is down for the idea and doesn't care about what it takes. Goku gives him his blood and then swiftly snaps his neck, then he comes back as a vampire. Goku gives him some of his human blood that he keeps stored, and this gives him a strong power boost. His power lifts up to 40,000 on the spot, well above Vegeta's current strength. Raditz has a space pod, but it only really has space for one person. That's a bummer. They're going to need to find another ship. Nappa was killed and left his pod here, so Goku just gets to use his. The only issue is that Goku doesn't really know how to work the space pod. It's all made in this interface that he can't decipher, however Raditz can. He's just going to have to set the destination before he actually gets into it. Raditz makes sure to tell Goku not to touch anything that he doesn't understand, because that could send him on a totally different trajectory. Goku agrees, Raditz puts all the necessary inputs in, and they both head on their way toward Namek. As Goku is sat in his own ship, he's surprised with how much he's changed. He just looks out to the vastness of space, dwelling on his own mentality. He feels like it's right to kill those that harm others. Before, he could never have summoned the strength to do so. However, after becoming a vampire, it changed him. He became colder, more sinister, less forgiving. In his mind now, it's the right thing to do. If Raditz is telling the truth, Frieza has probably been at fault for the deaths of millions, if not billions. After a month or so, they arrive on Namek. Goku steps out and just takes in the serene atmosphere. It's amazing to take in the swaying blue grass below, the flowing green waters. However, they get on their mission. Goku senses the surroundings and locates a lot of strong individuals. One very strong one, another somewhat weaker one, then a rather weak one. Those three are well above the rest. As a vampire, his senses are much greater. He can pick up on much more visual information, but his key sensing has also sharpened. He could fight with his eyes closed without much trouble. It's an actual martial art that vampires came up with, the Echo Fang style. Goku decides to take Raditz to the weakest signature. Here he finds a healing Vegeta in a chamber. What a surprise, just as Raditz predicted. They get ready to leave him, but Raditz realizes he could be a help to them. This is Vegeta's image as well. Raditz knows that he could defeat Vegeta now. Goku taught him how to sense ki and it's clear to him. Even if Vegeta is weaker than usual in this state, he isn't far from fully healing. He knows he can win. What he wants now is different. There's no point dwelling on the past when Vegeta could be of use to them now. They can take this empire for themselves, dismantle it, anything. That's what he wants. Freedom, the ability to do what he wants, to live their lives as they please. Wait, Raditz says, stopping Goku. He re-enters the room and walks up to Vegeta. Vegeta, he shouts. Just the tone of his voice makes Vegeta wake and shatter the chamber he's in. Raditz takes a few steps back, then Vegeta rushes over to him and grabs him. However, with a quick and light step, Raditz pushes him away. It's like he vanishes for a second. Vegeta tries to fire a blast at him but finds his lifted arm is aching. He drops his arm, still hyperventilating from his presence alone. Once he turns, he sees someone that angers him even more, Kakarot. He tries to fire a blast at him as well, but Goku grabs his wrist and squeezes. This squeeze stops him and even brings him to his knees. "We're not here to hurt you," Goku says before throwing him back. Even with Goku's words, Vegeta doesn't stop. He's too overcome with rage. While he was healing in that chamber, those two were the only people bothering him, tormenting him mentally. "We can take down Frieza," Raditz states, getting right to the point. "No, I can. I'm going to wish for immortality and take him out. You two can watch if you please. You'll be next anyway." "We're immortal," Raditz cuts him off. Vegeta turns still. "You used Earth's Dragon Balls?" Vegeta wonders, annoyed they got wishes first. "No, our Dragon Balls turned to stone years ago. The person whose life was connected to their power was killed. The balls were rendered useless after. That's not how we got this power. I can give it to you," Goku comments. "All you need is his blood and to enter a transition period. Once that is over, you will become immortal," Raditz comments. Vegeta doesn't believe it. He can't believe it. It's not that easy, is it? As they converse, a quiet and sneaky Frieza soldier arrives at the scene. This is one of Frieza's ships. Vegeta's currently a rogue soldier and Frieza has been trying to locate him. "Vegeta, hands up and on your knees," he roars, aiming his hand at him. His hand has some odd cannon attached to it. Goku turns to the soldier and his pupils then shrink. "Leave. Forget we were here. Continue acting as you were," he states. The soldier, like nothing happened, turns and walks away. Goku turns back to Vegeta, then looks into his eyes. "You're going to listen to us and do as we say," he says in the same tone. Raditz just shakes his head. He was hoping Vegeta would get on their page. Now that he's been compelled, it doesn't feel genuine. "No, I just told you no," he roars. Goku jerks back his head in total confusion. "Compulsion? I compelled you to listen to us. I compelled you, Raditz. Remember when we first met, I asked you if you were being controlled?" "I was. I didn't lie to you. I didn't feel compelled to tell the truth. I just did. You were using compulsion on me then." Raditz then realizes, confused. Goku turns back to Vegeta with this frozen, shocked look. "Saiyans. Saiyans can't be compelled." What a surprise. I mean, it works on humans in this random Frieza soldier, so he assumed it would work on Saiyans as well. It looks like that isn't the case. It's more like a hit or miss with different species. "What immortality do you have? How can I believe you?" Vegeta asks. "That's a good question. Unless one of them is ready to badly injure themselves, he won't know if they're telling the truth." Goku shakes his head before gritting his teeth. He prepares himself for what he's about to do. He makes his hand into a flat shape and Demon Ki cloaks it. He then pulls in and stabs it through his own chest, specifically his heart. He coughs blood and then falls to his knees in agony from the injury. He roars out in pain and Raditz rushes to his aid almost immediately. He struggles to see him do what he's doing. However, he pulls out the energy blade and takes a breath of relief. Lifting up onto one knee, he lifts his shirt to show the gaping wound sealing up. In a few seconds, the wound is totally gone. "I'm immortal. I can't be killed," Goku adds. Vegeta's eyes are left open wide. That was a suicide attack. That would have definitely killed him. However, not only did Goku survive it, but he healed from it like it was nothing. "That's the power that you can get. Even that hit just made me slightly stronger," Goku reveals. Now that's something Vegeta wants to be a part of. He agrees to get this power and Raditz does the honors. If he can't beat him in a fight, he'll do this to satisfy his anger. Forcing Vegeta to drink his blood, he snaps his neck. Seconds later, Vegeta takes a gasp up from the dead. Before he can even speak, Goku hands him a bag of blood. This brings him to silence. The scent draws him in and he finishes the entire bag. What an odd experience, now he's drawn to blood. As long as you have enough human blood in your system, we win. We've got a good supply, so you should be fine, Goku reveals. He's brought a capsule filled with human blood made by Bulma. They can retrieve it, then get tons of bags of it whenever they need to. Vegeta's power level has risen all the way up from 35,000 to 330,000. This makes him way stronger than Raditz now. The latter isn't surprised, it was inevitable. He'll make sure to close the gap again so he can beat him. With Goku's way of training, he's sure that will happen sooner than later. Goku and Raditz have suppressed their power to not draw alarm, but Vegeta has not. He doesn't know how to. This makes him almost like a shining beacon, telling every scouter in the vicinity that they're here. The strength of the reading brings the army on Namek to a halt. Zarbon reached 330,000 and can't believe it. Even Frieza himself is shocked. Frieza hasn't got time to call in the Ginyu Force right now. He doesn't even know if they're on this reading's level anyway. To be honest, he assumes it's a fluke, some malfunction with the scouter software, and so he heads on his way there. Much to his surprise, it's coming from one of his outposts. He was assuming it would be one of these Namekians, who has such power within his own ranks. He's here, Goku realizes. Vegeta cannot sense Ki and wonders how Goku can. Raditz locks on himself and both fighters speed out the ship. Vegeta follows their lead after getting some armor of his own. Both Saiyans stand before Raditz. Frieza's surprised to see these people aren't the reading he picked up on. Even from Raditz, he picks up a much stronger 10,000 power level from him. Seconds later, the signal shows itself. Vegeta, 330,000. From Vegeta. No, Frieza refuses to believe it. Upon seeing the Emperor, Vegeta gets hit with this intense rage that he isn't used to. This intense emotion. Before he was angry, now he's infuriated. There's only one thing on his mind, and that is to defeat Frieza. He speeds forward, taking Frieza off guard with his speed. To be honest, he surprises himself as well. Vegeta punches him straight out of his pod before grabbing it and smashing it into his face. Vegeta throws down a kick, but Frieza lifts his small forearm and tanks the attack. Next, he lifts and lands a strong punch to gain some distance. Vegeta sends sliding back and can feel one of his ribs is broken, just like with Zarbon. However, the rib, even if painfully, snaps back into place and heals back up. It's true, he really can heal. The healing is visible and audible. Frieza can see his rib literally pop back into place. This makes him a little concerned. I've already achieved immortality, Vegeta reveals. He attacks him again, utilizing the immense and overwhelming speed of the vampire. He throws a flurry of punches but stops seconds later. That movement takes a lot of energy for vampires. It can only be used for a few seconds before the body starts seizing up and slowing down. Frieza can do nothing to block or even perceive the hits, however the punches lack that power behind them, they don't really hurt him. With Vegeta already breathing, Frieza swings in an elbow to his jaw before sweeping at his legs and punching in his head. He usually isn't one to fight, but after getting hit so many times by this Saiyan, it's riled him up. He was going to just call the Ginyu Force in and make them do what they could. Now he wants to personally take out Vegeta. "You're naive to hurt me," he roars. He lifts his fist and aims to throw in another punch, however Goku speeds toward him while holding a shield of Demon Ki. He pretty much bashes into Frieza with much greater strength than he has shown. Frieza is thrown off him and also has a busted up arm. Frieza lifts his uninjured arm and fires a beam of Ki toward Goku. It hits the shield and with its piercing strength, breaks through and shatters it. However, the Demon Ki floods back into Goku's body and makes him even stronger. Speeding toward Frieza, he knees him in his nose, then grabs him by the neck and slams him. This slam makes Frieza cough out blood and makes him look quite disoriented. Upon lifting, he almost falls back down from his lack of coordination. That injury cut open his head and almost totally crushed his throat. Things won't end well if he stays in this form. Out of rage, Frieza lifts and roars at the top of his lungs. He leaves all of his intermediary forms behind and skips to his true state. At his suppressions, his power level is still at 6 million, a massive number. Goku creates another shield made purely of Demon Ki, a skill that he mastered after seeing Lord Ebankort use it in their fight. Frieza speeds forward and strikes the shield, shattering it with pure brute force. Goku creates another, but Frieza pulls it down and headbutts him. The headbutt cracks his skull and launches him into the ship behind him. Frieza then storms over to Vegeta, who has now recovered from his fatigue. He speeds forward again, but Frieza catches his incoming punch before it lands. He brings it to a complete stop without much trouble. Squeezing, he can hear and feel popping and cracking in his wrist. Vegeta grits his teeth and grunts from the pain, but it doesn't seem as painful as it should be. The Saiyan vampire durability has shown itself. He grabs onto his wrist and pulls him off somehow, with the wrist that he had just broken as well. Frieza just lets go from pure shock. Vegeta then places both hands in his face and fires out a close range energy wave. He puts every bit of power that he can into it, but finds Frieza takes it very well. It leaves a little bit of dirt on his face, but nothing else really. Punching Vegeta once, the fist carries enough weight and force to drop him to the ground. Next, he turns his attention to the other two Saiyans. After training with Goku for a year, Raditz has a basic hold on Demon Ki. That wouldn't be enough though, his power level is 40,000 and it's not like he can use a full body cloak. It would eat away at his body. He hasn't learned to use it efficiently yet. He forms a primitive cloak of Demon Ki that mainly empowers his arm. He then fires this dark red blast of Ki toward Frieza, but he just slaps it away. "Is that all you have, Raditz?" Frieza taunts. He speeds toward him, then really lays out the two vampires with his raw power. He lets out all of his rage. These Saiyans really thought they could come here and defeat him. How dare they? Frieza grabs Vegeta's tail and swings him into Raditz before kicking both warriors back. He grabs them both by the neck, then slams them down. Both fighters stop right there. That might be it. As he lifts, Goku swings in a punch to try and push him away, but it does nothing. He tanks the attack like it was nothing. Frieza lifts, then shoots a death beam straight through his heart, dropping him. "Now that should do it," he says, after seeing Goku taking quick short gasps on the ground. Frieza turns away and the fallen Saiyans wake up from their unconsciousness. Vegeta's power level is now at 600,000, Raditz's is at 75,000. Vegeta lifts and fires up a fake white moon into the sky. Goku might not have his tail, but Raditz and Vegeta do. After years of training to use the forms, they have complete mastery over it as well. The two Saiyans turn into the massive Uzaru. With a 10 times boost, they become insanely powerful. Vegeta shoots down both his arms onto Frieza, knocking him down. Frieza then holds his arms in an X shape to block the second hit that fires down on him. Vegeta then throws forward a kick, but Frieza uses his greater speed to lift up. As he lifts, he speeds toward Vegeta and strikes him in the face. Next, he leaps off him, then strikes Raditz with a strong punch. This single punch throws Raditz off his feet and slams him onto Goku. Vegeta starts to battle Frieza directly and resorts to his incredible power to try and contain him. The product of his vampirism means the speed decrease in this form is minute. He's basically on Frieza's level when he uses his vamp speed. The two of them are fighting at pretty much a stalemate. Vegeta can close Frieza down with short bursts of speed, but Frieza can overcome that by attacking during his cooldowns. Of course, since Frieza is way smaller than Vegeta, it makes him harder to hit. Vegeta elbows Frieza away before kicking him into the air. However, as he comes to a stop, Frieza dives down and strikes him on the top of his snout before striking down on his foot. Pushing forward as hard as he can, Vegeta starts falling back. With his balance upset, Frieza lifts and strikes him in his gut to throw him back. Goku sits on the sidelines trying to figure out a way back in. That form he used against Lord, he's not sure if he could just do it again. He hasn't used it since. However, if he doesn't use it, there'll be no way to overcome this threat. Goku focuses, drawing upon that anger and need that he did in the previous fight. He even uses Demon Ki to put his mind in the right place, flooding it into his head to intoxicate him and infuriate him. It works like a charm. From out of nowhere, the legendary Super Saiyan form is back again. It appears from almost out of nowhere, shocking the fighters. Goku speeds up and uppercuts Frieza, using his speed to overwhelm him. He continuously flows around him and beats him down with his immense speed. Once his speed fades, Frieza sees this as his chance to attack himself. However, he balls up into his shield of Demon Ki, a massive ball of hardened Demon Ki. Frieza tries to break through it with brute force, but he can't. Taking a second to think about his next approach, he realizes he has the perfect technique for this. He shoots his death beam and fires right through it. The shield disperses, then Goku reveals himself again. He's done it. He's incorporated Demon Ki into his Super Saiyan form, just as he thought. Now that he's almost completely mastered its usage, he can use it with almost anything. It is a gamble though. This form is already taxing on the body. It's not very taxing, but it's not an easy use either. With the use of Demon Ki on top of that, he will need some human blood after the state he will put himself in. He calms himself and focuses, just as he hoped. The Demon Ki floods through his body and empowers him a vast amount. His power level is lifted to 32 million, a wondrous increase in strength. "Now we win," Goku shouts before speeding toward Frieza. With a single punch, he's caved in his ribcage. He grabs one of his arms and swivels around wildly. Launching out his body, it fires through the spaceship below them. As he lands, Goku then shoots down. He can't waste any time. This gives Frieza very little time to work with. Not only that, but he has a crushed throat and ribcage now. Goku uppercuts him and crushes his jaw. Each hit just breaks him down. The gap between them is too much. Frieza tries to lift his suppressions, but it's too late. He grabs Frieza's arm, then places his left arm behind Frieza's left. With a strong pull, he literally pulls his arm off his body. He turns, then hits Frieza with his very own dismembered limb so hard it nearly knocks him cleanly out. Frieza falls to the floor and can see the Super Saiyan silhouette now standing over him, shrouded in this cloak of dark red and golden energy, blocking out the sons of Namek from view. His end. Frieza tries to use his remaining limb to do something, but Goku slams his foot on it and crushes it. This leaves Frieza with basically no options. He can already feel his tail has snapped after Goku has stepped on him. Goku lifts both arms and throws away the rubble of the spaceship in all directions. Lifting, he just walks back and points toward him. He's all yours, guys. Take him out if you need to, Goku says. He doesn't want to take the kill for them. They can do what they want. Vegeta wanted to take down this man himself with his own powers. This isn't too bad though, he's still fallen by the might of a Saiyan. What more could he ask for? He crouches down to Frieza in his gigantic form, with Raditz already arriving by his side. Vegeta's power level has risen after their intense battle to 8 million. Even with Frieza now stronger after lifting his suppressions, his power is tanked due to injury, it's also fading as blood constantly spews out of his body. He aims down a hand and fires with a smirk on his face. The blast hits Frieza but doesn't kill him right away, he's going to need a little bit more firepower. Therefore he steps back then aims forward both hands. Firing out a ruthless barrage of ki blasts, it lights up the whole area. A massive crater is left, with the dead Frieza in the center. The Saiyans have been freed. With their coordination, they've defeated their emperor, their oppressor. Vegeta's full moon fades after about an hour and a half, and the Saiyans return to their humanoid states, the vampires. The strongest trio of Saiyans their race has ever seen, unprecedented power, unprecedented glory. Their race might be gone, but it's good to know that they're free. Vegeta just stands in silence, kind of annoyed he couldn't defeat Frieza on his own. Why did he have to work with these people? He shouldn't have taken that power. It annoys him to be second place behind Goku, a low-class Saiyan. Goku smells intently and can tell Vegeta's still troubled. What's wrong? He asks. Vegeta gives no response and just flies off. He says not another word, and it seems like that might be the end to him. Don't chase after him. If he wants to go about this his own way, let him. He's probably annoyed he couldn't face him alone, Raditz says. Really? You believe that? Raditz chuckles in response. We destroyed planets, across the galaxy together. I don't feel like he cared about me all that much, but we know each other better than anyone else. He wanted to kill Frieza. He feels like that wasn't him today. Goku and Raditz return back to Earth, a job well done. It's odd. True peace has come. The war with the vampires is over. Goku is now the strongest vampire and can happily step in if any more conflict brews. Frieza, the strongest person in the universe, in Raditz's words, is gone. What a surprise. The two of them return and relish this peace. A year swiftly passes. Goku has just been spending his time relaxing. He's been given the title of Vice Duke of the Demon Claire clan. But someone steps in to actually fulfill that role for him. It's a post, a position that requires some work. However, it leaves Goku the possibility to continue living as he has done. Over time, he is naturally growing as he's a vampire, but it's very slow. His power level creeps up to 126,000 from 125,000, so not much real growth. Shortly after this break, the peace is broken by a strong approaching ki. Who could this be? Goku steps out and finds the Z fighters have come together to face this incoming threat. A large warrior that resembles Frieza makes himself known. Raditz thinks it could be one of Frieza's odd forms, but it's not. The real Frieza steps out from behind him. Wait, he died, didn't he? How could this happen? Frieza is very durable. It looked like he'd been killed, but his body was still hanging on by a thread. With some skillful mechanical work, his body was brought up to speed and made even stronger. His power level sits above even 120 million just in this slim form of his. This is a problem, a very big problem. Frieza doesn't want to have his father step in, he'll just watch. Frieza with immense confidence steps toward these vampires. Lifting lightly, he blasts forward and takes them off guard with his insane speed. He crushes them under the force of his slam, caving in their rib cages. Looks like if I hurt you two, you'll just come back, so that means I'll just have to raise this planet to the ground to take you out, Frieza comments. Creating two blasts in his hand, Goku and Raditz struggle to get up. Even if Raditz hasn't been on this planet very long, he's made a home here. If this place is destroyed, he'll have nowhere to call home. What will Frieza do after the crimes he committed? He doesn't even want to think about that. Goku cloaks his right arm with Demon Key and grabs Frieza's, but he lightly shoves and breaks it. The gap in power is too great, far too great. Stop there, a third voice calls out. Vegeta. Frieza calls back his blasts, lifting to face him. So, you're here as well, even better, Frieza states. Vegeta speeds forward to arrive behind him, having almost teleported in the process. The two Saiyans on the ground can't believe what they've seen. How did he move that quickly? I'm the new god of this world. He will answer to me, Vegeta comments. Frieza turns then bomb rushes toward Vegeta, however he turns and grabs his fist like it's nothing, he then pulls it down. You think I'd let myself be a part of that empire again, that accursed empire of yours? He asks, staring into Frieza's soul. He completely crushes his metal arm before ripping it off. Sparks fly out from the opening in his broken limb, then he swings with his other arm. Vegeta catches it. For a whole year I've put myself through hell, putting my body through the most extreme torture I could imagine, because I knew what that would engender, ultimate strength above your wildest dreams, Vegeta states. One thing the Saiyans now have is a mind of steel. With the Zenkai on top of their vampirism, it means they can constantly use Zenkais to grow, abuse their bodies to reach new heights. If they have enough determination and willpower, it can mean great things. Frieza headbutts Vegeta then hits him again. Both hits cause little to no damage. Suddenly black veins start to protrude from Vegeta's eyes. They run down his cheeks and his sclera darken to a black colour. Following that, his eyes start to glow a dim dark red colour. He pulls Frieza back, striking his head forcefully. He then stabs through Frieza's chest. However, he purposefully aims for the right side of his chest. Pulling over it, he pulls it through his whole body. Moving it laterally, he makes an impetuous cut through his chest, reaching to his heart and shredding through it like it's paper. Frieza's done. He coughs out an alarming volume of blood before collapsing. He turns, revealing a cloth to wipe it down his hands. He throws the cloth away, then walks toward a now cowering King Cold. The former Emperor acts hastily and in fear. He blasts out a ki blast, but he swipes it away. King Cold fires a second, but Vegeta catches it. It stops him, but he absorbs the kinetic impact of the attack. Pushing it back, he then swings it up and out of harm's way. His walk down continues. Eventually, he's a mere step from the quivering, terrified man. "Look how far you've fallen, bossing my father around and now this. So sad," he says before grabbing his head. Out of nowhere, he launches a full power energy wave enhanced by Demon Ki. After just seeing Goku use it, he managed to copy the attack. The intelligent warrior has brilliant copying abilities on par with the low-class Saiyan. His usage is very primitive and nowhere near as good as Goku's technique was after seeing it though. It still gets the job done. King Cold's head comes clean off and leaves quite the gory scene. It's nothing these vampires haven't seen. Their minds have become quite unbothered about these sights. There we go, Vegeta says, accomplished. Seconds later, this weight falls upon him though. He has all his strength and his strongest opponent is dead. What to do now? He flies off without another word. It looks like he has forgiven the Vamp Saiyans, at least partially. If he didn't go in to kill them, that means it's progress. How did he do that? We can do the same. It might be safe if we do. I don't know what Vegeta is up to, but with that gap between us so large, it's not safe. He could do anything, Goku realizes. Can we constantly grow like this? All we have to do is beat ourselves down and grow stronger. Yes, but it's hard. We need a lot of human blood after a repeated injury. It takes away our energy. Eventually, the healing factor just slows and slows until it stops. Then you rest and do it again. It takes time, Goku adds. That's when an idea clicks. Back in Sanguinopolis, there's a room that they can meditate and grow in, the time chamber as they call it. In there, in a day, they can make a full year of progress. Raditz and Vegeta head in there and are allowed into the chamber. Since Goku is Vice Duke, this is something that he can do without any external approval, and so they begin. On the outside, Vegeta stands in a wasteland that he's come to call his home. There's a single home, the home of someone that he enslaved and is using for his blood. What other good use does he have? He sits on the roof looking out to the mountains and dirt in the distance. As he sat here, he can feel a presence. Future Trunks. He turns and looks at this purple-haired man standing before him. "Who are you?" he asks. He doesn't immediately kill him, he can use him for his blood. Walking down, he catches his scent and realizes he's not a human, he's a vampire. Not only that, but he's a Saiyan. Wait, he's catching a human scent still, however it's a scent that doesn't make him want it in any way, like a blander, staler version of the scent of human blood. "What are you?" "So you smelt me. I'm a halfling Saiyan hybrid, half vampire Saiyan, half human," he comments. This makes Vegeta shocked, another Saiyan hybrid. "I'll go away, I don't want to be disturbed," Vegeta says, walking back to his new home. "This world will be destroyed, you will die, everyone dies," he comments. Out of nowhere, Vegeta speeds forward and faces Trunks. "I can't be killed." Trunks reveals a sharp stake of wood and stabs it into his father's gut. This feeling of agony is unlike anything he's ever felt. Nothing compares, not even the training he put himself through. He is immediately dropped to his knees and starts hyperventilating. He goes in to touch the stake, but even the lightest movement of it makes him tremble from the sharp pain. "If I put that through your heart, you will have died. You're basically immortal, but not fully. Someone out there knows it. In 3 years' time, the androids will come to destroy this earth. They know your weakness. They'll kill you too," Trunks says. As he sees that Vegeta isn't even listening to him, he drops down and rips the wooden stake out for him. Vegeta takes a gasp of relief, then the wound starts sealing back up. Now he can take a gasp of relief and ask some questions. "That's impossible," Vegeta says. "I know it sounds unreal, but these androids have been tailored to be your greatest weakness. It's best for you not to contest them directly," Trunks reveals. "So why didn't you kill them with one of those stakes?" Vegeta says, starting to get his breath back. "It's not that simple. They have an aura of vervain. It's this chemical that makes us weak. It burns our throat and can slow or even suspend our healing completely. I've grown stronger, but I can't really face them directly," he reveals. That's when Trunks takes something out, a stake of pure white wood. This should take them out. It's a mix of the wood and vervain that we find weak. When thrown quickly, you can shoot out the vervain. This should be enough. My androids are already growing, and I can't grow quicker than them. Outpace these ones before they're done and beat them. Why come to me? You think I'm bothered? Sounds like I'll just leave the planet and be done with it, Vegeta retorts. "You won't. What about Bulma then?" Trunks says, making him silent. "Also, I'm Trunks. I'm a vampire because of you. I'm your son," Trunks reveals. "Son?" Vegeta asks, grabbing him by his neck. He lifts him off the ground, but Trunks grabs his arm, then just pulls him off without much concern. He pulls Vegeta's fingers off without much struggle, then pulls him down so he falls. My androids are stronger than me, but don't think the same about you. I've had to constantly grow for my own survival, Trunks reveals. You can grow as well, if you join my side, Trunks adds. Vegeta doesn't say a word and just flies off, his favourite ploy. Trunks knows he'll come around. He took the steak and didn't give it back. Now he needs to try and find Goku and Vegeta. It takes a whole day of waiting before he senses more signatures. It must be them, because the signatures are quite strong. Goku and Raditz, now Super Saiyan vampires, emerge from Sanguinopolis. It fades behind them, then Trunks lands right in front of them. He then explains what is coming. It looks like everyone has to prepare. The two of them go off to tell the humans about what is happening too, and they start this intense training period. After 3 full years, Goku and Raditz grow to a totally new level. Their physical strength is unlike anything they thought they could achieve. The gap between them and the humans, or even the gap between Gohan and the humans, is immense. These vampires, in tandem with the Saiyan healing ability, have claimed their titles as strongest. Goku and Raditz fearless stand at a rock cliff that looks down into the city of Sasebo, a city still recovering from the damages of the Great Vampire War. They can still see some buildings in rubble, being cleared or rebuilt. Goku can't sense any ki from these androids, but his vision and senses are very sharp. He can sense the decrease in ki right next to them and pinpoints the source. He isn't sure that it's 2 different androids, but he assumes so. Trunks constantly said androids and so leaps in there to see what's happening. As soon as he lands in the street, he feels his legs give in. He starts coughing, but it feels like any ordinary cough. However, after he pulls his hand back, he sees blood coming out his nose and mouth. It's that chemical he was talking about. Vervain, he said. From the sound of his coughing, the androids have located him. An android built specifically for killing vampires, Android 19, and Dr. Gero, a vampire cyborg. Not only that, but Gero has implemented a procedure to allow for the perpetual growth of the vampire, a procedure he refers to as perpetual growth. He accelerates the activity of the cell and does so to such an amount that they become hot to the touch. However, he's accelerating their physical age so that physical years can pass while minutes pass on the outside. It takes a lot of energy, and so it almost requires a constant human blood supply. You can only really go off it for 2 to 3 minutes before he starts to desiccate. Goku, Dr. Gero says, stepping forward. Red Ribbon Army, I remember you. I destroyed your empire, he says, almost shocked by his presence. Sadly, you didn't take out all of us, he reveals, pointing to his head. 19, he says, pointing toward Goku. He lifts an arm, then starts firing a barrage of wooden bullets toward him. His arm starts whirring, a beam of wooden bullets fire into his chest. Luckily, the first wave misses hard, then he creates a shield of demon ki to block him from the remaining wave. The bullets are quick, but quite slow compared to him. With this Vervain in the air though, it leaves him way weaker than usual. Not only that, but sharp wood can pierce almost any vampire skin, no matter how strong the user of that wood is. It just takes a little bit of a push. Android 19 then rushes forward, stake in hand. Not only that, but he can feel the Vervain aura getting stronger, weakening him. Resorting to an ultimate defensive move, he creates a massive dome of demon ki. On the inside, he has to work on taking out these wooden bullets. However, Android 19 creates a thin pin of metal from his body. It sticks through the dome, then opens inside it. Suddenly, a wave of Vervain pours into it. Goku takes a breath and feels a burning sensation that cripples him. The demon ki breaks apart from his loss of focus. He feels this strong burning in his throat unlike anything else. It's like he's starting to lose consciousness. From out of nowhere though, Raditz grabs the android and throws him aside. With one hand on his mouth, he attacks with the other. He saw the whole fight play out from range and now knows how to face these fighters. They're going to have to take breaths elsewhere, vanishing then reappearing. He lifted into the air then returned to take a big breath of air. Now he's got about a minute or so to fight. Now that they're vampires, they can simply hold their breath for way longer. However, in the heat of battle, the time they can hold it for dwindles. Raditz speeds forward and kicks in 19's face. The sheer impact behind his kick bends in his metal compartments. Next, he lifts into the air to get another gasp. Goku wants to fight, but he's hurt so badly by the wooden Vervain in his system, now he can't even walk. The humans who aren't affected by these materials grasp him, then pull him back and away from the battlefield. Raditz lands back on the ground with a strong bang, then speeds forward and gut punches 19. Next, he grabs onto his head with one arm, then pulls as hard as he can. With sheer power, he rips the headpiece off and renders the android useless. What comes next shocks him. Dr. Gero clicks a button in his pocket and 19 explodes out. A bunch of Vervain-coated wooden pellets fire into his body and dig deep into his body. A number of pellets dig into his heart, seeping Vervain in there as well. Goku shouts out when seeing this. Raditz steps back weakly before looking down to his body. Raditz falls backward into Goku's arms, who is now by his side. I'm sorry, Raditz says, before turning to a grey corpse. A tear falls onto Raditz's head. Goku feels distraught. No, it doesn't even process for a moment. He's gone. He's really gone. At the hands of this insane man still clinging onto the past, Goku closes his brother's eyes then lifts. Out of reflex he powers up into Super Saiyan. The rage commands such, however this rage commands more. Even more power comes leaking out and he ascends into Super Saiyan 2 for the first time. This 100 times boost gives him just the power he needs. Next he speeds toward Dr. Gero then uses his solar flare attack. This leaves him blinded for a moment, then Goku blocks his mouth and closes the distance between them. He arrives in front of him but then whizzes around to arrive behind him. With this swift movement he takes Dr. Gero off guard. He might be a vampire but his sensory abilities are nowhere near on his level. Not only does he naturally have them, but he's honed them. His eyes are only a supplementary sense to him. Dr. Gero assumes he's behind him and swings his arm. With that he releases a massive wave of ki out toward the back of him. Unluckily it misses the target widely. Goku, already in the air, power drives Gero and crushes him into the asphalt below. Next he just grabs him by the neck of his shirt. The death of his brother, he can't take it out of his mind. He just got freedom. He was starting to look happy with his life. That person that he saw as cold and bitter was just a product of his previous trauma. He was healing, bonding. Now that's all been taken from him. Without the Dragon Balls of Earth and with the death of Guru back on Namek, that might mean the true end of his life. Goku punches Gero again once he realizes this. He starts roaring at the top of his lungs and unleashes a brutal onslaught of punches and kicks. He holds nothing back. Once he's done, a cloud of dust emits from around him and flows off. Dr. Gero has been almost totally crushed. However, Goku got reckless. He stopped worrying about his breath. He got angrier and this forced more oxygen into his brain. Therefore, he took in more of the vervain around him. Soon enough, it starts to burn through his throat, destroying everything in its path. He loses his orientation and pulls away from Gero. The world sways around him. Krillin grabs Goku and leaps away before anything else can happen. Just as he predicted, a wave of wooden spikes fire out from his body. Unlike with 19, he's not dead, no. His body starts healing like nothing happened. After healing, he blasts away and leaves everything behind. He flies off to his lab and swiftly activates his greatest creation, his magnum opus, the best android model, Android 17 and 18. Vampire androids empowered by perpetual growth. They appear having been accelerated and aged centuries at their activation. Much to Gero's dismay, they're a lot more defiant than he anticipated. They don't even take anything he says seriously. 17 ends up killing Gero so that they can act on their own. He wishes to kill Goku even if it was wired into him. How could he not act on his instincts anyway? The duo leave Gero in his lab alone. All that accompanies his body is the infrequent beeping of his massive supercomputer. Even in his death, his will has been extended into these cybernetic life forms. His evil lives on. 17 and 18 find Krillin and the Z fighters flying, having taken Goku away from the scene. As these androids arrive, it's like he wakes up. He starts groaning from the sheer volume of vervain flowing through him. Even the humans can smell the chemical. It's a strong, almost bothersome scent for them. To Goku, it's this pungent, burning stench. It's already too dangerous to stay here. However, they don't have any firepower to keep the androids away. Just as they stand before them, they're getting months older. They're growing. As they constantly age, they'll grow stronger as well. 17 smirks and aims his left hand at Goku's head. He didn't think it would be this easy. Before he can fire a blast, Vegeta arrives and stands before the crew. Vegeta doesn't waste any time here and goes into attack. Upon doing so though, he jerks back and sees his hand burning. There's vervain. A second later, a wooden stake appears in the vampire's hand. It starts sizzling his own hand, but his healing factor is so fast it doesn't hurt him. In his other hand, he reveals a blood bag and starts drinking from it. Nodding to 18, she flies away and into the distance. This is to acquire their battle store of blood. Their bodies are already starting to solidify without blood. If they're going to fight, they're going to need a constant supply of it. You best back away, Vegeta. My body is your venom, your poison, Android 17 comments. Then his vamp face takes form, the black sclera, red irises, black veins. You're a vampire too, but you're different, he comments. There isn't any sense of fear in his voice, just curiosity. I'm weak to everything you are, however my body runs on overdrive. I don't even feel the pain from the ward or vervain. Not only that, but the wounds fade pretty quickly. Unlike you, I don't get stronger from healing, but I get stronger from just living. What's better? 17 jokingly says, before dashing toward Vegeta. He grabs him by his neck, refusing to let go. Vegeta can feel the vervain on his skin seeping into his bloodstream and taking away the light. If he passes out, he'll be killed, there's no doubt about it. Luckily, Vegeta didn't respect Trunks, but he listened to him. He isn't stupid. Revealing the white dagger that Trunks gave him, he aims it at 17 and clicks the button attached to it. A brilliant creation by Bulma, a wave of vervain shoots into 17. He doesn't feel it though. Vegeta tries to stab him, but he's fast and it misses his heart. With a vamp dash, he moves just out the way in the nick of time to save himself. The white dagger digs through his sternum and right into the center of his body. That's when a wave of vervain starts to seep into his body. Due to this dense stream of vervain, his healing factor is slowed so much it's like it has no effect. This makes him vulnerable. Vegeta powers up into his Super Saiyan form and slashes at one of his arms. Just as he predicted, the arm falls off like nothing happened. Not even that, but his blood time limit has been reached. A few flakes of stone flow off his desiccating body. Vegeta kicks him downward, then dives down. Even in his weakness, he has enough resilience and power to finish this fight off. Slamming 17 into the ground, he gets engulfed in flames. Not what he was expecting, but he assumes it's a good sign. Looking up, he sees 18 just standing there. She drops a blood bag she was going to give to her brother. The flames subside, revealing the scorched body of 17. It steams heavily from the evaporated vervain gas. Vegeta goes in and grabs the flaming stake of wood, aiming it at 18. He doesn't care about getting burned by it. The burn doesn't even feel all that bad. Compared to the stake to the gut that Trunks gave him, this is nothing. Come on then, Vegeta says, walking to her. However, 18 speeds past him and pours a bunch of blood into her brother's mouth. Vegeta kicks her off and then swivels the stake into a reverse grip. Throwing it down, he feels a force pulling his arm back. A now healed 17 is risen and kicks the stake from his grasp. Grabbing it himself, he aims to stab it into Vegeta, but he evades before blasting back. In his retreat, he fires out a ki blast to both androids. They tank the attack though, and do so with little effort. 18 kicks off 17's back, pushing him forward even quicker. He punches Vegeta in the face, then sweeps at his feet. This throws him off balance, then he just slams a ki blast into his chest. Vegeta might be strong in Super Saiyan, but as they fight, these androids just get stronger and stronger. 17 tries to attack him again, but there's a crackling of his skin as he throws his arm forward. He's desiccating. He catches a blood bag from 18 and sucks it dry. Vegeta can then see a large cube in the distance. It must be their reservoir of blood. What an annoyance. He's going to have to get into it to cut off their supply. Vegeta powers up as much as he can, readying himself for action. He's going to have to put everything into this. The vervain has weakened him a good bit, but he can still contend with the androids. It's annoying to know he could pulverize them if not for their gimmicks. Anyhow, he speeds forward with his vamp speed and practically speed blitzes the duo. Kneeing 17 back, he grabs onto one of his legs, then swings him into his sister. Kicking her, they both go flying back. As they fly away, he continues with a barrage of dark ki blasts imbued with demon ki. Using the visualization of his demonic soul, it floods his body with a dark red aura of ki. The aura hurts immediately. The vervain in his system isn't helping either. Luckily, the power he receives is monumental and exactly what he needs. The pain means he hasn't got time to wait. He's got to go now. 17 and 18 slowly lift, now healed. As they lift, they see Vegeta is nowhere to be found. Vegeta has arrived at the cube of blood at least a mile from the battlefield. Punching his fist into it, he releases a ki blast and detonates the whole thing. 17 and 18 see him gone and blast toward Vegeta as fast as they can. It's too slow though. Vegeta got there before they could, something they didn't even expect. 18 used as much of her vamp speed as possible to move almost instantaneously. The cube opens when she's close to it. Without her or 17, it wouldn't open and is the most durable object on Earth. Regardless, Vegeta breaks through it with a right cross. Away from the android's vervain clouds, enough of his power has returned. Looking behind them, they still do have some sources. The Z fighters have naively stayed in range of the fight. Goku is gone, but Krillin, Tien and Gohan remain. Run, Gohan shouts, before 17 has already appeared in front of him. A single swing of his arm knocks Gohan out from snapping his spine in two. Next, he grabs the two humans and stops them from escaping. They dig into these humans, sucking them dry. Now that will give them enough strength. The pale, nearly dead humans drop to the ground and the two continue their fight. This time they're going in for the kill. Vegeta gets grabbed by 18, who pulls back both of his arms. This keeps him planted and lets them do exactly what they need to do. 17 then grabs the stake that is still burning, the ultimate stake, the bane of the vampire. He points it to Vegeta, who is weakening from the vervain seeping into his system. Cocking back, he stabs the stake into his gut, making the flames lift and spread throughout his body. Seconds later, he's hit by a strong double axe handle to the back of his head. Goku has returned, now fully healed. Not only that, but with a massive Zenkai boost. 17's head heals, but Goku kicks him down and keeps him there. He rips the stake from Vegeta's body, then stabs it into 18 as quickly as he can. He uses his own vamp speed and cancels out her own. Not only that, but he uses a full cloak of demon ki, even if it feels like vervain itself. The stake digs into her heart and scorches it. The greyness of death pulls over her body and leaves her for dead. She turns into a solid mass and flops to the ground. As for Vegeta, he's in agony from the burning, gaping hole in his gut. The amount of pain that he's had to sustain as a vampire is otherworldly. He'd be dead 1,000 times over if he wasn't one. Goku holds the burning stake before swiveling it around in his hand. Solar Flare. Much to his annoyance, 17 prepares and closes his eyes before that attack can do anything. Goku switches to a different technique, one he hasn't used for a long time. A vast number of after images swarm 17. He was expecting one or two, but an army of them. They all look like Goku, slowly closing in on him. He then uses a ki to keep them away, but they continue coming toward him, all holding that flaming hot steak. Instead, choosing to fly up, he's dropped to the ground with a double axe handle. Goku then grabs the loose steak and drives it down into the heart, stopping him dead in his tracks. There we are, Goku says, as the veins of death grow until they cover his whole body. Goku dusts off his hands before grabbing a dying Vegeta. His body is healing the wound way too slowly. Goku looks in closely and can see micro fragments deep in his flesh. Yeah, it looks like that steak was built to not be healed from. He decides to take Vegeta away on his shoulder and head to Capsule Corp. Surely Bulma could do something about this. Across the terrain within Dr. Gero's lab, someone blasts open from a coffin. A man in a suit that looks at his hands. He can't believe it. He's alive. He lifts out of his coffin and looks around at this weird technology that surrounds him. How can I understand this writing? He realizes. Walking toward the man dead on the floor, he recognizes his face, Gero, his reviver. Here stands the epitome of vampirism, the first ever to do it, the strongest, true unadulterated vampirism, Ezekiel. He has very pale skin that almost looks deathly. Not only that, but he has constant red eyes, not just that glow with his vampire face. His suit looks dusty after countless millennia kept in that coffin. I guess I've got to do what you revived me for, he states, before leaving the chamber. Instead of the Cell project, Gero focused on this man. He hadn't finished the project and so left it to supercomputer to complete it. A man, a vampire with spliced Saiyan DNA. With his durable body as the primordial vampire, it could take that genetic modification and stay animated. Not only with the perpetual growth of his accelerated body, but his body is also constantly using his weakness to vervain and would to heal and gain Zenkais thanks to his Saiyan blood. Goku, the world is not safe. So did you come to help? Goku says, with Vegeta on a bench at Capsule Corp. I didn't come to help, I just wanted to fight strong foes. It was uninteresting, he responds. Seconds later, a man lands in the garden of the facility. Ezekiel. Greetings, Ezekiel says politely. Foe, sorry, who are you? Goku wonders. I've been gone quite a while, haven't I? I thought you vampires would keep the very first in the history books or something. I'm Ezekiel, he reveals. The very first. Goku freezes in response. The Ezekiel, the primordial, the very first. Why are you here? I thought you were dead more than 10,000 years ago, Goku reveals. Ezekiel's accent is very strong. It's unlike anything they've heard, like a Slavic accent. I've been programmed to kill you. Don't think there's anything to do since it's what I want to do. I apologize in advance. You seem like a nice guy, Ezekiel responds. He says so in such a nonchalant, unbothered manner. Now Goku wasn't expecting that. Ezekiel appears right in front of Goku and grabs him by his shirt. This will be swift, he comments. I'm a vampire, that wouldn't work on me, he reveals. Ezekiel shakes his head confused. Did Gero remove his own abilities? He tries again only for it to have no effect on him. Goku's Saiyan DNA isn't subservient to any compulsion. If he was an ordinary Saiyan, it would have worked from the primordial. However, being a vampire himself gives him that extra wall of defense against this. Goku slaps at his arm, seeing it doesn't move. He tries to pull it away, but the guy doesn't budge. This is not good. Vegeta has only one option. He whizzes away, picks up the steak from before, and brings it back to the Capsule Corp with it somehow still ablaze. Vegeta goes in to stab it into his heart through his back, but he turns and grabs it before he can. He holds him still and instead pushes it toward Vegeta's heart. Goku comes rushing in to stop him and pushes as hard as he can. Stop, you know what you're doing is wrong. Why are you doing it? Goku roars. It's my will, it's not my fault I was designed this way. You seem to have control, just keep it. It's not what you want to do, it's what Gero wants to do, Goku says. Ezekiel doesn't immediately respond. Stepping back, he nods to him. I guess it isn't. That makes sense. Why does he want to kill you anyway? If you're worthy of death, I won't hesitate to bring it to you, he states. No, I took out an army that was going to use these orbs to take over the world. They were slaughtering countless people, Goku states. I wish I could compel you to reveal the truth. I don't hear any disturbance in your heartbeat, so I'll take your word as gospel. Be well. Well, that was an experience. A weird one. That guy just resisted his mental urges so easily. Are they safe now? They hope so. 7 years of peace come along. Goku originally thought that the Namekian Dragon Balls were gone, but he goes there just to make sure. Luckily, the Dragon Balls are still there but linked to a different soul. He defeated Frieza all those years ago and practically saved their planet, so they're willing to give him whatever wish he wants. He wishes for Raditz to come back, revives Anton, and leaves the final wish for the Namekians. Gohan, without having to ever really fight, just goes to school and leaves it. The threat of Majin Buu comes around, but the Z fighters don't even know about it. Ezekiel, living his own life, takes them out without a second thought. Even more time passes and someone wakes up, Beerus, from his sleep. He dreams of the Super Saiyan God, a strong threat with worthy strength, enough strength to give him a good fight. Something he's been craving for the longest time, so him and Whis head to Earth to see if they can find him. At the time of their arrival, Bulma is having her birthday party. It's going well until Beerus arrives and totally crashes it. He wants the Super Saiyan God, and if he doesn't get it, then he'll destroy their planet. Goku has enough Saiyans now. Goku, Vegeta, Raditz, Gohan, Goten, Trunks, all they need. The 5 Saiyans come together and perform the ritual on Goku, turning him into the Super Saiyan God. Goku feels this pure form of ki now, God ki. You were right, Anton, Goku realizes. This form of ki feels totally different to the demon ki he usually uses. It's pure, empowering. It does nothing to the mind. He feels clearer and more focused. It's not the darkening, intoxicating energy that he's gotten used to with demon ki. So the fight begins, and the two of them start off fighting lightly. Beerus isn't very interested to begin with. Goku is strong but just isn't on his level. Goku retreats, then tries something out. What happens when opposites come together? What happens when he mixes his demon ki with God ki? Closing his eyes, he thinks about his tainted soul, then feels a sudden pain in his chest. He coughs out blood, then sees a small red ball of ki appear in front of him. Then, his own God ki that flows through his body floods into the demon ki. Next, forms this purple ball of immense strength. The small but vibrating ball of ki flies toward Beerus and detonates. A massive, translucent dome of power is released. Goku gets thrown away and knocked out by his own wave of power. This dome basically destroys everything in its path. It doesn't just break everything apart, it literally vaporizes the ground in its dome. What comes next is a massive, nearly deafening shockwave. Not Hakai, but highly destructive. Beerus looks down and is surprised he's drawn blood. Somehow that explosion left a wound. It's not life-threatening per se, but it hurts. What a surprise. With Goku knocked out, it brings the fight to an end. After that was shown, Whis grows more intrigued. He shows a power he hasn't seen before. Whis is aware of demons, of course he is. He's seen people like that throughout his universe. However, he's never had the chance to see what happens when you mix demon ki and God ki together. It looks like the opposite forms of ki make it highly destructive. Whis offers to take Goku under his wing. He just wants to see more of this power of his. Vegeta and Raditz follow along to Beerus' planet to join in on the training themselves. During this time, Beerus sees a whole new power he's never seen. Goku, after about 10 years, has mastered the form that he saw from Lord Ebankort. A total defensive form. He can cloak himself in samurai looking armor. It gives him much higher durability and makes his punches and kicks just that bit more powerful. The group start to become more skilled with God ki and all learn to use Super Saiyan God. They also learn the Super Saiyan Blue form, but it takes a lot of stamina. They haven't mastered it just yet. They rather quickly learn how to mix Demon Ki and God Ki together, but this can only be done in Super Saiyan God. When the two forms of Ki mix in the body, it does cause damage. So one has to be strong enough to withstand the instability that occurs in the body. When the two Ki are brought out the body and mixed together, it forms this incredible destruction. Many microscopic waves of Ki fly out that can't be seen with the naked eye. This swarm of small Ki blades just take out everything in its way. Frieza arrives on Earth with his army, but he's met by quite the force. Ezekiel lands in front of this army and looks on for a few seconds. "I sense an intent from all of you. Get him," one of Frieza's meat-headed soldiers roars. However, Ezekiel resists with astounding force. He speeds forward and takes out at least 15 soldiers with the shockwave of his punch. Next, he sprints toward another group and throws out a small Ki blast that still releases a massive explosion. Ezekiel continues taking down these soldiers like they're flies. Single attacks take out whole units of warriors. Ezekiel grabs one by the neck and flies toward the wall of a ravine. Slamming them into the wall, he takes them out. However, he uses the rubble that's released and swings them out into the surrounding soldiers. Soon enough, Ezekiel takes down the final foot soldier and ends up directly facing Tagoma and Shisami. Tagoma speeds toward him, trying to take him by surprise. After seeing him fight the much weaker Frieza soldiers, he feels like he can take him off guard. This strategy doesn't work at all. Ezekiel uses a little flair. As he sees him coming, he uses his Demon Ki aura and empowers himself even further. Leaping over the incoming Tagoma, he swings down and shatters Tagoma's skull with his downward punch. Ezekiel then appears in front of Shisami, turning invisible to him from his much superior speed. He grabs him by his neck and looks into his eyes. "Leave this place, never return," he states, before throwing him away. Shisami runs, then Ezekiel looks at Frieza. "Follow along with him." "That won't work on me," Frieza says, stepping out his pod. As of right now, the Z Fighters have arrived but only did some supplementary work. The main firepower behind the resistance was Ezekiel. He doesn't even look like a Saiyan, his skin is way too pale. No, he's one of those vampires that Goku went on about. Whatever he is, they're just gonna sit by and watch. Ezekiel grabs Frieza from his pod and pulls him out with brute force. Then he lifts his right arm while keeping Frieza down with his left. Across his fist, he creates this large plate of demon ki that he strikes down with. He forms a crater from just this hit, then leaps up. Elegantly flipping around, he swings down a ki blast. This makes the crater even larger and leaves some large bruises on Frieza's arms. However, he's taking these hits surprisingly well. Ezekiel dives down using his vamp speed to take Frieza totally by surprise. He lands behind him before creating a long scythe made purely of condensed demon ki. He swings at his neck and almost cleaves it open, but Frieza is swift and ducks under the swing. Ezekiel kicks Frieza into the wall of the crater before stabbing his blade. Frieza manages to put his arm in the way so it doesn't just go through his heart or something. It still goes through one of his arms, leaving him quite hurt. Unlike with Saiyans, Ezekiel doesn't want to see someone go up to full power. He doesn't even know if Frieza can transform and he doesn't care really. He just wants to get rid of any dangerous people. He doesn't want to see his home planet destroyed. Trying to get his transformation going by taunting Ezekiel won't work with Frieza. He just has to do it quickly and abruptly. This is what he does. He screams out the top of his lungs and ascends into his final form. With this immediate 120 times power boost, the fight might turn in his favour. He punches Ezekiel with his uninjured arm, making him cough blood. He sends him into the wall of the crater, but Ezekiel forms a strong wall of demon ki that Frieza bashes into. Impetuously, he uses his death beam to break through. Become almost a reflex now after remembering what he saw back on Namek. The piercing force is great enough to break straight through the dome and also cut into Ezekiel's shoulder. Frieza doesn't stop with his beams though and continues firing them through his body. He even stays at range so that he can land more and more without getting hit himself. Ezekiel coughs out blood after taking all those shots, but the wounds heal relatively quickly. A dark, roaring aura of ki swooshes around Ezekiel, but then collapses until it leaves just this dark red buzzing gleam across his skin. Ezekiel speeds toward Frieza and punches him. Due to the speed of his advance, Frieza just heaves up his arm to block. Without much thought, he uses the arm that's already been hurt in their fight. This incoming punch only hurts the wound even more. Ezekiel then grabs him and literally dives into the crater below, making Frieza scream out in pain. He throws down 2 strong elbows before looking at his right hand. Flakes of stone hard skin flake off. He's desiccating. He forgot about the acceleration that was put on his body. He's already grown thousands of years older in just these past 10 years. That comes with a much higher demand for human blood. Frieza coughs out blood just hurt by Ezekiel's beatdown. It's not like he's trying to fight at his level and have a good fight, he just wants to kill him. Ezekiel speeds away before retrieving blood and arriving back at the battlefield in under a minute. Once he comes back though, he sees Frieza in a new pristine golden state. Golden Frieza is born. He makes a fighting stance. Before throwing the remaining blood he acquired at the edge of the crater. He dives right in and aims to hit Frieza in the back of his head. However, he moves his head out the way to evade. This sends Ezekiel flying forward, but he stops and prepares to turn and continue. With Ezekiel's back turned to him though, Frieza shoots out multiple death beams into his back. Much to his surprise, Ezekiel evades them before they can hit him. It's weird, the speed at which he moves is definitely not enough to have evaded all those beams. However, Ezekiel senses a lot more than just the environment in front of him. With him, he can sense even the intent within oneself, the movement of his ki and body affecting the air. He basically has 360-degree vision. Ezekiel demonstrates this by closing his eyes and continuing the fight. Golden Frieza bomb rushes him, trying to take him off guard. Now Frieza has much superior speed, but he just hits his shield of ki. Frieza tries to arrive behind him, but he uses the same shield to block his hit with his eyes closed. The second hit shatters the shield though, the gap in power is still there. Frieza wallops him with the right hand at the grace of his much superior speed. Ezekiel was aware of the attack, but was also aware that he was unable to defend against it. He takes another punch to his chest, but manages to block the third. This third strike is still so powerful, it launches him into the wall of this crater and deep into the earth as well. As he's sent drilling through this rock, he just wonders, who is this Frieza? He always thought himself to be the strongest person on the planet. After his enhancements, he thought that would only widen the gap. His power level was around 10 million at the time of his death, so that would be true. However, a great number of people have grown along with him. The growth of a vampire is more additive. It's not a percentage of one's power every year, it's almost this set amount of power every year. Therefore, the effect of aging has diminishing returns as one gets older. So now, after having lived for so long, he isn't growing all that much day to day. Frieza dives through this hole in the rock and grabs Ezekiel. Swinging him out, he turns and fires out a massive wave of blasts. These massive purple ki blasts fire out and destroy anything in their path. Once they arrive close to Ezekiel, it looks like they're going to detonate. Seeing this, Ezekiel wraps himself in a perfect cylinder of demon ki. Getting the shape right adds to the durability just from the structure. He's sent flying away like a bowling ball and sent rolling across the terrain in this ball of his. However, he deforms it and digs his arms into the earth to slow his propulsion. Once he comes to a stop, someone lands before him. Goku. Ezekiel, Goku says. Goku, it's good to see you. This person is quite the handful, Ezekiel reveals. Tell me about it, Raditz says, landing in front of him. Vegeta then appears right in front of Frieza. He's been given the chance to take on Frieza himself. Vegeta takes note of his new form. He's grown stronger, he can sense it. It's nothing to him though. Vegeta calmly enters his Super Saiyan God form. He doesn't use Demon Ki just yet. Using a full cloak with God Ki can be a death sentence if done poorly. He's not going to risk damaging his body with that much power just yet. He might not even need to use that much power. Frieza bullets toward him, no longer willing to wait. However, he plays right into Vegeta's hands. Vegeta puts out his hand and forms a small pin-sized ball of ki. Then he visualizes the demonic soul within and brings out Demon Ki. Funneling the new energy through his arm, it beams into this small pin of God Ki. Once it does so, it turns into this shaking purple ball of ki. Chucking it at Frieza, it explodes violently and literally takes out his arm in the process. Frieza rolls in pain after taking that hit, with his arm now totally busted up. Vegeta then speed blitzes him with his vamp speed and places another small ball of ki on his knuckles. Thrusting this blast onto his chest, it detonates and sends him flying down into the crater below. He lands with a boom and Vegeta descends to land by his side. Frieza can barely breathe from his injuries. Not only is he starting to run out of steam with this golden form, his body is hurt in so many ways. These vampires haven't held back with their injuries. He kneels down beside Frieza, placing a hand on his chest. Frieza pleads for life, but Vegeta doesn't bite. He needs to kill him at this point. With his own power, his own strength. Demon Ki floods into his arm and cloaks it in this aura of purple energy. Vegeta grits his teeth. The mixing of this Demon Ki and God Ki always hurts. It literally damages their body as it's made, but their healing factors is what makes this power even viable. Lifting his hand, a much larger ball of purple ki appears. One about the size of a tennis ball. He leaps into the air and throws it down. Frieza's done. He tries to lift out the way and escape, but it's too late. The dome hits him and absolutely vaporizes every bit of matter in the way. It leaves this brutal red mist to appear in this invisible dome-like explosion. Ezekiel sees Vegeta fighting and wants to ask him something. What is this power that they use? He's been around a long time, but he hasn't seen this other ki they utilize. Goku reveals that it's God Ki. With the Demon Ki that they have, it means that they form this unstable mix. They don't really have a name for it. It doesn't have a name. This is the first time it's been seen in the world. Ezekiel is almost the perfect match for it though. Since his body works on overdrive, it means that he can't really be hurt by this stuff. It just means he needs a constant blood supply. They ask him if he wants to come along and go to Beerus planet. Ezekiel agrees. What else would he be doing anyway? He's been a fan of the human life, doing pretty much nothing. It's much better and more peaceful than the role of king that he had in his first life. However, this seems a lot more fulfilling than that. I mean, back in his day, he was a leader. He had an empire to lead. That was something. But no matter where he looks, it seems like that might be over. The crew go off the train and Reese is even more intrigued by this Ezekiel guy. He's not a Saiyan, but he's a vampire as well, and the primordial vampire at that. This grants him some larger benefits. He can't be killed by a wooden stake. Eventually, he wakes up and has a small time window to rip the stake out. If he doesn't do it, he'll just temporarily die again. He's nearly virtually immortal. There are still main caveats to this power though. He doesn't know it, but he can be destroyed by Hekai. Normal immortal beings cannot, but he is not a true immortal like the gods are. He can be erased by Hekai therefore. Along with that, he can be killed by a very specific type of wood that was used with magic to destroy him. That type of wood is very hard to come by and he keeps the material that kills him to himself. There's no need telling people about the only thing that can kill him in his eyes. So with that, the trailing begins. Ezekiel is quick and talented. After 10 millennia alive, he's picked up a whole bunch of experience. The brightest minds that have come and went, he's picked up on their discoveries and added to them. It just widens the gap between him and pretty much everyone else. Not only that, but this strain of Saiyan DNA now in his body means that he gets minor Zenkais from getting hurt in battle. It just gives that extra boost to his training. Alongside him constantly growing stronger, it means he develops at a pace similar to the Saiyans themselves. As of right now though, he has to catch up. Even with the God Demon Ki mix, he can't match this trio. Their power has skyrocketed. Not only that, but a Saiyan vampire is a little different to a human vampire. First, they can't be compelled by anyone. It doesn't matter who they are. Secondly, their bodies become extremely tough. Their pain registers are dulled greatly and their mental endurance increases too. They become warriors through and through. The Universe 6 saga comes, but this one is terribly swift. I mean, the 4 strongest of Universe 7 have no match within Universe 6. Ezekiel alone wipes out everyone in sight. His body has almost instant reaction. The time it takes for the nerve signals to travel through his body and brain is near instantaneous. It just comes down to how fast he can move his body. Before God Ki, Hit would have been a very tough match and he would probably lose. However, with God Ki, he stepped up greatly. Hit can't hold a candle to his strength. As the group just continue their own training, someone arrives at Capsule Corp, Future Trunks. He says that someone has taken Ezekiel's body. Now they're wreaking havoc on the Earth. They've killed every god, every vampire. He then refers to the main clans that were part of the resistance, the Ebankort clan and the Demonclair clan. Both were defeated in the end. Wait, you know about the clans? Goku asks. Yes, they shielded themselves once Ezekiel Black made himself known. They lived in the shadows but didn't want to see the destruction of the world. There was nothing they could do though, he reveals. It makes sense. Valentine, Anton, those guys aren't in the same ballpark as them anymore. They did well at protecting others, but that's all we could do. Act defensively and keep the human cost down as much as possible. Even so many have perished, Trunks says with a heavy heart. Ezekiel has a dilemma here. He knows how he can be killed, only he does. Everyone else that knew died a long time ago. The issue is he can't die by a stake. He goes down for a moment but comes back even stronger. I think he might be a Saiyan 2 somehow, Trunks reveals. I know how to get him, Ezekiel reveals. The others looked to him confused. They said that he was immortal. No, not exactly. Hakai is an option, but they have another much easier option. Ezekiel takes them to an old forest with these oddly grey trees. They look very old and are massive. They reach up 200 meters into the sky. This word, if carved into a stake, will kill me, Ezekiel reveals. Take this and take him out, Ezekiel reveals. They get on the case and carve a good handful of these stakes. Be careful, if you miss the heart, the thing burns away. I'll die temporarily like any ordinary stake, but I'll get right back up, he adds. The 5 of them each get 2 stakes, one ready to use in battle and a spare in case it is lost. This should be enough. With that, the 5 of them head over to the future timeline to confront Ezekiel Black. Ezekiel lifts into the air and almost scans the surroundings. He just uses his incredible sensing abilities to see what's happening. He shoots open his eyes once Ezekiel Black stands before him. He wears this odd black gear he'd never be seen in. Your fashion sense is atrocious, he comments, adjusting his own suit. His suits aren't any ordinary suits. Vampires have tailored these suits to be ready for battle. They're made in a special way with strong, flexible fibers. It's not stainless steel or anything, but it's much better than any ordinary clothing. Below Ezekiel, he can see a whole group of chained up humans. This is Ezekiel Black's power supply, the blood that he needs to function in battle. Ezekiel has brought his own blood as well, and Trunks has offered humans to give up their own blood. They just need to make sure that he can fight. It's not something Trunks wanted to do, but he's willing to compromise. Ezekiel Black speeds toward Ezekiel, but the latter vanishes before he can be hit, appearing behind the advancing warrior. He then puts 2 hands forward and creates 2 miniature balls of Demon Ki. He then grows them to about the size of 2 footballs and floods them with God Ki. These 2 balls become spinning, shaking purple balls, and he reverts back to his ordinary Ki state. Firing out the blasts, they both hit Ezekiel Black head on. The explosion released is very large. Several towers come crumbling down from chunks of their structure going missing. Ezekiel Black is left in a horrid state really. That's what the Demon God Ki mix does. However, his healing factor seals him up in a second or two. He appears behind one of the humans, then starts sucking their blood. Once he is done, he continues the fight. There it is. That's how they can win. Ezekiel has a new idea and dives down to the humans. He uses immense vamp speed and provides a bunch of them with his own blood. After doing so, he starts snapping necks one by one, turning these people into vampires to ruin his blood supply. Ezekiel Black comes crashing down and takes out one of its own humans to hit Ezekiel away. It throws Ezekiel back, but the hit lacks the force needed to do much. Ezekiel creates a small ball of purple demon God Ki and chucks it at Ezekiel Black. He makes sure to throw it quickly so that he can be shoved away by the ball's kinetic energy at first. To keep him even further away, he kicks him back and launches him at least 100 meters. This is so the explosion that results from that Ki doesn't hit any of these innocent humans. No, please, I don't want to be a vampire, one of them calls out. As you wish, Ezekiel states. No biggie, he'll just switch his approach. Lifting into the air, he is empowered by God Ki. A beautiful silver aura encapsulates him and makes his eyes glow that same color. His muscles are invigorated with the strongest Ki in existence, boosting his power tremendously. He appears in front of Ezekiel Black, grabbing him by his neck. Ezekiel whips around this super stake of his, then drives it into Ezekiel Black's heart, and that's the end of him. It lights up into flames and his body catches flames as well. Ezekiel backs away just to make sure he's not hurt by any sort of fragment of the stake. Ezekiel Black flails around for a short while, but he soon succumbs to the stake's incredible destructive capabilities. He flops down dead at the hands of Ezekiel. Even taking his body wasn't enough to defeat him. Future Trunks is so grateful they didn't even have to use the humans he brought with them. That brings the world to peace, for now that is. Zamasu arrives shortly after, but with the use of Zeno the fight is over rather quickly. Next, Goku is in search of strong foes. Ezekiel is content with just growing stronger and finding purpose in that. Saiyans aren't like that. He wants to see what the other universes have to offer him, however there isn't much to offer. Once the Tournament of Power comes around, it's total domination from the universe's 5 vampires. Pure domination. Their mix of God and Demon Ki just leaves the multiverse struggling for answers. There's no equivalent power that can match it, it's too powerful. They can create an energy that is much stronger than their ordinary battle power, so even if these people at the tournament were stronger than them, it would mean nothing. Killing isn't allowed in the tournament, and since the Demon God Ki mix is so powerful they even have to hold back. The main example in the battle is the fight between Ezekiel and Jiren. Jiren is physically stronger than Ezekiel and by a rather large margin. However, Ezekiel's just quick enough so that he can react to his movements well due to his near instant reaction speed. Of course, as he meets stronger foes, this short but significant reaction time starts to mean something. It's not like he has Ultra Instinct or anything. Even so, his Demon God Ki just wipes the floor with Jiren. It's painful, it's damaging, it's powerful. There's little he can do to face it. What follows is the escape of Moro from prison. Ezekiel decides to go off on his own to take him down. All it takes is a single Demon God Ki blast to hit Moro and take him out completely. He's ripped to shreds really. His old frail body means that he's even less equipped to take its destructive power. Ezekiel can sense the evil souls within him and it motivates him even further to take him out. After this point, Granola wants to get his wish to become the strongest, however it just won't work. The amount of life force he has isn't enough. He'd die in seconds if he was given that much power. Just how strong are these other people in the universe? With enough time, he comes around though. He learns that Bardock a Saiyan is the reason he's even alive, and Minato tries to make him see things through a different light. Back on Beerus' planet, the 4 warriors stand around Whis. They've all easily reached past Beerus. It didn't take long. The vampires just progress so quickly when it comes to training and healing. Now they all individually aren't on the level of Whis, but they've made a lot of progress. The 5 of them encircle him and prepare for battle. Goku, Vegeta and Raditz erupt into Super Saiyan Blue while Ezekiel uses his God Ki state. Then they all clad themselves in the samurai armor of Demon Ki. After so long with Demon Ki, using this much with God Ki through their system doesn't even hurt anymore. It's when they directly mix in Demon God Ki balls when it hurts most. The 4 of them speed toward Whis, but he lifts into the air to avoid their main attack. He then shoots down his staff, but Ezekiel forms a strong shield of Demon Ki to block it. The strike from the staff is still strong enough to shatter the shield and keep on moving after that's done. However, it took most of the sting out the hit. Ezekiel even manages to catch it before it hits him. He then swings it toward Whis, aiming to strike him with his own staff. Big mistake. He moves out the way, then catches it before diving down again. He strikes Ezekiel on his helmet, throwing him off his feet and onto the floor. With his mind focused on Ezekiel, Goku speeds in and tries to kick him. Against Ultra Instinct though, they're going to have to be quicker than that. Whis' body starts moving literally as soon as Goku does. His kick totally misses the mark. Vegeta then swings in a hook, but Whis catches it on his staff. As for Raditz, he swings the staff and strikes him away before he can approach him. Ezekiel, while still on the floor, shoots up a small ball of Demon God Ki. The buzzing purple ball nearly hits Whis, but with a step back and a hit of his staff, he sends it firing away. It fires into some adjacent waters and detonates violently. It creates this massive cloud since the water particles were separated into this mist by the microscopic blades. Ezekiel tries to grab Whis, but he steps back. Goku sees what he's doing and manages to grab him as he evades Ezekiel's grab. He timed himself perfectly, making it impossible for Whis to stop it. He then dives into this cloud of mist to try and obscure Whis' vision. This is where they could shine. Even through this mist, they can see Whis clearly. The 4 armored vampires arrive in this mist and continue the fight. How boring, Beerus thinks, now unable to watch the fight properly. Ezekiel forms a scythe of Demon Ki and swings it at Whis, however he shatters it with his staff. Goku and Vegeta both attempt to hit him from opposite directions, but Whis extends and kicks them both at the same time. Doing so, Raditz manages to hit a double axe handle on his chest. They're trying to continuously attack him, so they have points where Whis cannot evade their attack. Ezekiel catches one of Whis' legs and spins him around violently. It does create an open air pocket, but this isn't an issue. Goku and Vegeta are currently directly under the two, waiting for their time to shine. Ezekiel swings Whis down and both Goku and Vegeta hit him with an upwards punch the very moment he is launched. Whis is thrown straight out the cloud, launched upward. Suddenly, a wave of small purple ki blasts start raining out from this cloud of mist. He focuses and grips on his staff more tightly. He begins using his full speed, just whacking away as many of these blasts as he can. However, he's hit by one, and just this small ball of ki launches him away from the explosive force. Whis is sent flying toward ground, and Ezekiel is already right there and ready to hit him. He throws up a kick, but Whis' body has more than enough time. Elegantly evading this hit, it just puts him in the perfect position for Raditz to land yet another double axe handle. Then Ezekiel resorts to his signature vampire move, grabbing Whis by his waist and just slamming him as hard as he possibly can. Before Ezekiel can hit him again though, Whis throws out both arms and uses the ki attack to blast all the warriors back. Even with this, Ezekiel is witty and drives down a sword of demon ki into the earth below. It slows him down a great deal, meaning he isn't thrown as far. This is their chance. Their coordination is working. Their final strategy should put a nail in the coffin. This win is theirs. Ezekiel launches his demon ki sword at Whis and throws it so quickly that he manages to clip at his cheek. However, Whis catches it and swings it at Ezekiel. His throw is much quicker and more powerful. His own demon ki sword breaks his helmet and cuts deep into his cheek. Raditz and Vegeta bomb rush Whis, but he makes a mockery of them. Striking Vegeta as hard as he can, he throws him off his feet and to the ground. Next, he swings his staff and repeatedly strikes Raditz to break apart his armor. After this series of attacks, he feels Ezekiel latch onto him. Now, out of the group, Goku's had the best affinity with Demon God Ki. The way that he can mix it is so natural compared to the rest of them. He calms himself and creates this bowling ball sized Demon God Ki ball. It vibrates almost with its own ferocity and fury. It's hard for him to contain. He feels blood drip down his nose. His body feels hot and burns from the inside. However, he fires it off toward Whis and Ezekiel lets go at the last second. He throws himself down and Whis is sent flying above him. The ball goes flying for a short bit but then detonates. All the fighters make sure to make some distance. The explosion shakes the whole planet. However, the explosion is focused within a fixed range, and so all of that destructive power is focused in there. Everything except Whis is vaporized, and he is then sent flying into the massive tree at the center of Beerus' planet. He's fully knocked out and has to be attended to quickly. The vampire blood heals him, and Whis must give these vampires their flowers. They've climbed above even him. Now 4 morsels have come together and defeated the very strongest person within Universe 7. The strongest vampires of Universe 7 triumph. So that will conclude What If Goku Was a Vampire. Please tell me something you liked about this What If, or something that I should improve on for the next one. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.